any of the starting antique civs. After all, you might be finishing the campaign as the United States, so there will be some mixing and matching regardless.
Sed tandem aedificabo marmoream urbem ubi ante alateres.
Firaxis is also taking the opportunity to include some leaders who weren't necessarily top-level political figures this time, so we don't end up with just the exact same cast we've seen over and over again. Ben Franklin was specifically called out, though I didn't get to see him fully animated in 3D yet.
When falls the Colosseum, Rome shall fall.
What isn't totally agnostic is your choice of a new civ in the coming age, addressing one of my gripes with humankind, that you could go from Celts to Chinese with little or no narrative context. Every starting civ will have at least one natural path that's always available to them. Egypt can naturally transition into Songhai and then Buganda, but everyone can also potentially earn access to certain later age civs that are unlocked by gameplay choices. For example, cultivating several horse resources in antiquity can allow you to become the Mongols for the exploration age. Other interesting progression paths mentioned included starting as Rome, then becoming the Normans, and finally ending as England.
हम अशोक ही संसार के मध्य बिंदु के एगो महान राजा.
Transitioning between ages will come with a period of crisis, and I got to see just the beginning of one of them for antiquity, which was called the Rising Storm, depicting the fall of the great empires of old.
Я жутчайший опоздун, просто невероятный. Че по звуку?
So it was definitely a pick your poison moment. At the same time, new groups of independent people who have completely replaced barbarians and city-states, but can act like either one depending on what state of development they're in, and can be dealt with militarily or diplomatically, started spawning around my hinterlands. Transitioning to a new age doesn't only give you new mechanical bonuses, though. Lead designer Ed Beach used the city of London as an example of how you build cities in Civ 7.
Фу, короче, я летела, как не знаю кто. Здравствуйте. Сегодня, кстати, Всемирный день без макияжа. Держу в курсе. Видите, я поэтому не накрашенная. У нас сегодня праздник. Вот. Короче, блин, он там что-то болтает, этот дядька, я ни хрена не понимаю. Что у нас сегодня, типа, Gamescom, там день первый, вроде какие-то там сегодня релизейшены будут отличающиеся от вчера, которые были. Вроде сегодня какие-то мега-вау будут. Вот, но весь прикол в том, то, что... Весь прикол в том, то, что... Блин, что я нажала? Что, по-моему, ничего отличаться от вчера не будет. Но, тем не менее, посидим, попердим, посмотрим, так сказать, что, кого, куда. Так, сейчас, 2 секунды. Потеряла все. Так, сейчас 2 секунды. Все, супер, теперь есть. Фух, так, здрасте еще раз. Надо пойти воды себе налить. Я прилетела на крыльях любви к вам. Так, Дима, здравствуй, Зирал, здравствуй, Тубек, здравствуй, Павел, здравствуй, Таля, здравствуй, Маняк, здравствуй, Рево, здравствуй, Динго, здравствуй, Фартовый, здравствуй, здравствуйте, ребятки, здрасте. Тут сейчас пока вот это презентейшн, короче, вот, а я пока это презентейшн идет, наверное, пойду себе налью воды, потому что я сейчас офигею. Вот, мне пришлось в срочном порядке бежать в магазин водичку брать, потому что пипец. Жопа. Что за Gamescom, какое отношение имеет к своему стриму? Наверное, потому что я ретранслирую Gamescom. Мы сидим, обсуждаем игры, какие будут выходить, какие будут показывать на Gamescom. Не вижу ничего такого сверх. Там, кстати, сегодня еще в 9 часов вечера будет типа индюшатину показывать. Будем смотреть или нет? А я сейчас опрос сделаю, короче. Да только началось оно, ничего не показывали, инферно. Блин, нос чешется, капец. Прошлась по улице, называется. Да елки-палки.
All these years later, I still think Civ 5 looks better than its direct successor. Civ 7 has taken another stylized but much more grounded and tactile approach. The main influences on the art style were painted miniatures, model trains, dioramas, and museum displays. And everything on the map is great to look at.
К пьянке, точно.
Feel like I could
Ну, он
reach
скоро.
down in there and pick these little guys up to get a closer look at them.
Создать опрос.
It's the first Civ game in a while that really feels current gen in a visual sense. The mountains look a bit less mountainy, more like isolated.
Не-не-не, они же выкладывают трейлеры типа, вот. Пока еще не показывали. Там прикол весь в том, то, что типа у них же несколько этих трансляций, вот, типа на немецком, на английском, да и все, в принципе. И на немецком оно идет раньше, чем на английском. Но я типа нафиг нам на немецком, на английском хоть что-то, чтобы понять. Границ, здравствуй. Ой, так, ладно, я сейчас приду. Пойду воды налью.
Veni, gladia vostra nostro muro franghite.
Diplomacy has also been greatly reworked from Civ 6. Influence is now a baseline currency produced by certain buildings, and you spend it on direct actions that target another Civ. Firaxis wants to reduce the emphasis on transactional horse trading type diplomacy, so every time you do something diplomatically, it's more of a specific jab or handshake that you're engaging in. Influence also has a fairly low cap and is use it or lose it, encouraging you to engage in diplomacy regularly.
Nietzsche Amina, Saronia Amina.
One really interesting example of this was a treaty Amina kept hitting me with when we were on less than great terms, which would cause my relationship with my BFF Augustus to deteriorate unless I spent an even larger ante of influence to counter it. This presents some diabolical ways you can play other civs against each other, and a reason to keep some influence in the bank. The other really great twist with influence is that you can spend it during a war to increase your side's war support, which works kind of like a diplomatic tug of war. If one side has invested a lot more influence than the other into war support, the side with less will suffer scaling penalties to combat effectiveness and happiness in their cities. So diplomacy is now key to the military game as well, which I love.
Gamescom has begun. Hello, everybody! It's the biggest gaming event in the world, and Gamescom Studio is your one-stop destination for all the excitement.
It's awesome to be here at Gamescom.
Coming up today, some of the most anticipated games like Monster Hunter Wilds, Avowed, Civilization 7. Plus, looks ahead at what's next for games that already have us hooked, like Diablo 4 and Starship Troopers Extermination. Plus, we'll take a look at what's happening around the Gamescom show floor, bringing you sights, sounds, and maybe some surprises. So get ready, because Gamescom Studio, live on IGN, starts right now.
Hello and welcome to IGN's live coverage of Gamescom 2024, the biggest video game convention in the world. I'm your host, Stella Chung, along with Max Scoville and Brian Altano. Welcome to Gamescom,
Welcome.
guys.
Welcome
Yeah.
to Gamescom. The Gamescom floor is officially open, and for the next 4 days, IGN will be bringing you non-stop coverage of everything going on here, right in Cologne, Germany. We'll have interviews with game developers, voice actors, and the people working on the coolest upcoming and ongoing games. Plus, we'll also be showing you around the absolutely massive Gamescom show floor, which is packed with booths, activations, and probably something really wild, like a 70-foot-tall dragon that's fighting a tank, or maybe just like a regular-sized construction vehicle that's there to promote a very specific game about doing construction. Probably. It's all happening here at Gamescom. Lots of cool stuff.
It certainly is. There will also be definitely tons of surprises you won't want to miss. Brand new gameplay trailers, exclusive reveals, and more. And hey, the biggest video game event on the planet also cares about the planet. Thanks to the Gamescom Goes Green initiative, Gamescom runs on 100% renewable energy. In addition to participating in Gamescom's carbon offset program, exhibitors are also doing their part by building more sustainably, reusing portions of their booths, and avoiding single-use material.
It's
Здравствуйте.
quite amazing. The Gamescom force continues to grow, and more trees have been planted thanks to donations from attendees. You can find out more about Gamescom's sustainability efforts and find out how to do your part at gamescom.global.
Бля, мать, шпарит, смотри. Я ни хера не успеваю, что она говорит.
Because Gamescom has actually gone worldwide.
Так, говорит, нас привет танцует. Нет, я просто переоделась. Константинович! Дима, здравствуй, Наталья, здравствуй. Мне кажется, что на инди-показе вечером будет намного больше интересного, чем сейчас. Я так понимаю, что мы будем смотреть инди сегодня. Ну, короче, по сути, сегодня тоже 2 стрима будет. Вот сейчас и в 9 вечера. Ну, я без 15 начну.
Yeah, and if you think that's a lot, that's just what's happening here in the studio. So, let's actually see what's happening out on the show.
Welcome to Gamescom 2024. We're going to be out here on the show floor today.
Мы смотрим Вундик, здравствуй. Great Circle. Какой пухляж, смотри, милый. Мы смотрим, короче... Спасибо. Мы смотрим показ, игровой показ Gamescom, который происходит раз в год. Так же, как мы смотрели Showcase, да, по-моему, если я не ошибаюсь, 2 месяца назад. Также мы сейчас смотрим Gamescom. Вот, релизные какие-то игры, что-то интересное, может быть, будет. Вот. И как, судя по опросу, мы еще вечером в 9 часов будем смотреть Gamescom инди. Вот, инди-игры будут показывать там и всякое такое. Вот.
People are really excited for this game. People are extremely hyped for it. The new trailer looks awesome. There's one specific shot that I'm going to call out that people have a lot of questions about. There's a bit where Mr. Satan or Hercule is running away from what appears to be Vegeta in his giant Uzuru form. How does that fit into the game?
Я прилетела, я, видите, я не накрашенная ни хрена. Во-первых, мне сегодня скинули, что сегодня день без типа праздник без макияжа, что-то такое. Так что я, видите, я по канону. Не знаю, насколько я там выгляжу, но у меня единственное, что глаза чешутся чуть-чуть. Еще по улице прошлась, в магазин надо было сгонять. Еще по улице прошлась. Ля, отец разговаривает на жапане. Сейчас, подожди, я волью все это самое, будем рофлить. Нормально все. Сейчас мне поесть просто надо чуть-чуть, перекусить. Я думаю, вечером будет смотреть, как готовить индюшатину. Да. Анус говорит. Это не анус. Классно говоришь, спасибо. Блин, что, да, нормально, ничего, так выглядишь. Лицо поменьше было бы. Вчера, короче, в душ пошла. Со своего тазика мыться. Ни хрена не стирается этот карандаш, который у меня был на губах. Я даже его вижу еще на губах вся до сих пор. Кстати, я выложила там шорт с кайфув. Я его целый день делала, со вчерашнего дня и вот сегодня закончила. Поэтому, кто не смотрел, посмотрите.
The other thing people have really latched onto is there's a brief glimpse of Goku wearing his yard rat outfit, which I don't know. I think people are really excited about the prospect of character customization, different outfits. It's already a massive roster. Can you talk a little bit about sort of different outfits or accessories?
Джонни, здорово. Всемирный день без косметики и макияжа. Вот, я без косметики и без макияжа. Натурелечка. Я уже смотрел, но посмотрю. А, этот шорт. Спасибо. Рубрика «Что в руках будет?» Ну хорошо, у меня вот есть тут, что я хочу схомячить чуть-чуть. Что у меня будет сейчас в руках? Это съедобное, хрустящее. В принципе, это все, что вам нужно знать. Медведь, спасибо. Константин, спасибо. Дима, спасибо. Говорит, за что щечки роза? А, зато не скрыть этот румянец, точно. На все лицо. Боже, ну почему они... Так, продолжается, короче, модный приговор со вчера. Почему они так в Саратов все выглядят одеты? Кто мне объяснит? Вот эти вот оптигоны, вот эти вот подвороты, завороты, отвороты. Притом все. Файта. Вафля. Понятно. Попкорн. Чипсы. Опрятный вид. А, спасибо. Ой, что еще водички хлебану. Модники, я худею просто. Ля, жопу нам показал. Что они так любят стильно одеваться? Да! Это кошмар. Потому что они айтишники. For esports to have like characters that are well balanced so that everybody has the same chance, but this game is more about, you know, enjoying being a character. So in this game, you know, strong characters are stronger and you can play very strong. Господи, да нахрен нам эта болтовня, ваши рассказы про то, какая это супер вау мега игра. Файтинг, обычный, мать его, за ногу файтинг. Они нам сидят, рассказывают о том, что this is very incredible game for our world. Ой, for our. Короче, in our worlds. Омагарыбу, о, файту. Просто не могу. Лучше Ван Пачмена мне дайте, я хочу 3-й сезон. Ну вот, смотри, вот этот вот справа, посмотри. Вот переставь ему мою голову вот так. И в принципе ничего не поменяется. Ай, бляха, это подожди, это чуть-чуть не то, по-моему. Стойте, я хочу глянуть. Сейчас, 2 секунды. Зайцы, подождите, я не то открыла, по-моему. Где этот Xbox-то? Сейчас мы глянем. Xbox. Господи. А, так у них тут другое. Сейчас, извините, у вас тут вакханалия в ушах сейчас будет. Так они сейчас базарят просто. Это я Gamescom, это я... У Xbox то же самое. У них это болтовня перед показом игр, поэтому забейте. Это все то же самое. По-моему. Если что, то я... Смотрим пока это. Если что, я мониторить буду. Кубик здоров. Это у них вот эта болтовня перед тем, как показывать трейлеры, блин.
ドラゴンボールらしいアクションというのを楽しんでいただけるように、よりなんでしょう、リアルタイムの中で攻撃を食らいながらも反撃できる新しいリベンジカウンターというシステムを入れたりですとか、ちょっと中距離からでも一気に瞬間移動的に攻撃を仕掛けることのできるバニッシングアサルトみたいなですね、新しいシステムをどんどん入れていくことで、よりドラゴンボールらしいアクションを自分の手で生み出せるような進化というのを今回遂げるような形で作らせていただいています。
У них, да, у них сейчас и на Xbox, и здесь болтовня. Мы что, пришли болтовню слушать? Мы пришли трейлеры смотреть. Игровые. Болтовня это, блин, кому она надо? Так, вы, короче, угадали, у меня чипсик. Ой, там этот Xbox чел. Подожди. Мы должны это увидеть, ребята. Мы... Ой, сорянчик. Мы должны это увидеть. Ой, это не то, сорян. Мы должны это увидеть.
Daydreams game I'm really
liking. Goddamn, кого мы видим?
Teddy bear.
Ну, мы обязаны на него посмотреть, конечно же.
It's fun. I think a couple months ago, High Water was a game that's really good. Like I love when I get a list of games from creators and teams I haven't seen before. And get to dive in.
Ну что вы, у меня миллиарды миллионов денег, как бы несите мне еще, пожалуйста, Xbox уже полностью в полной жопе, но ничего! О, у нее желтые брови? Матерь бог. И у этой какой-то дебильный маникюр.
In Starfield. I'm looking forward. I've been asking for Todd for vehicles. Come on, Todd. I want vehicles in this game. I'm tired of walking around this planet. And I thought the trailer for that looked really good last night, so I can't wait to drive around planets and Starfield.
Wonderful. And talking of driving, I'm personally, if anyone's wondering, super excited. Forza Horizon 5 is over there.
Yeah.
It's the game I cannot put down. Absolutely adore it. So if they
Ладно, давайте это посмотрим. Тут что-то поинтереснее, по-моему.
New gameplay mode.
Надежда, здравствуй!
Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for the chat. Please enjoy getting your hands on our lovely city we've got here. But I'm going to speak to these guys here because if, like me, you've been eyeing up those new consoles, then buckle up because we want to help you win one. Now, over to Bex with more information.
Well, thanks, Charlie. So not only are these honeys
Вы что, пришли на рекламу Xbox? Алло! Где игры?
Has a chance to enter to
Спасибо,
win
спасибо.
either the 1 terabyte Xbox Series X all digital edition, by the way, the 1 terabyte Xbox Series S, both in Robot White, or the grand
А вы говорили, что оно загнется. Нет, вот смотри.
special edition Galaxy Xbox Series X. I mean, look how gorgeous that is. To enter, just head over to twitch.tv/Xbox, check out the rules and all the info in the chat. And best of all, good luck. So, next up, we saw Forza Horizon 5's new gameplay mode reveal at the top of the show, the hide and seek. We are now going to look at some new wheels that have been inspired by Dallas Maverick star Luka Doncic and, best of all, blessed by the GOAT himself, Michael Jordan. So let's have a look.
Так, там, короче, уже...
Hello, everyone. It is an honor to be here at Gamescom, representing the incredible work of our teams around the world. We have a lot going on here in Cologne on the show floor. Right here behind me, attendees can experience the demo for the Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred expansion. We are also
Ладно,
excited
Диабло,
to be
идите
speaking
нафиг, Диабло.
our global...
Дико извиняюсь. Сейчас включим вот это.
Not like what other archaeology-style adventure games have done in the past.
No, and I also like there's a great deal.
Я буду вам туда-сюда переключать, скорее всего, где интересно.
There's at least 3 or 4 different types of puzzles we saw. Of course, you're going to get like the light and mirror puzzle that you kind of see in all of these types of games. But there was also just a good amount of kind of not kind of outside of the box puzzle solving. We don't know to an extent how many different ways you can solve certain objectives in this game yet, but a key tool that Indy has is his journal and his camera. So he'll go around levels and take photographs of clues, and then that'll help him not only solve puzzles and work out ways of completing these levels, but also for everything you successfully take a photo of, you get things called adventure points, which you can then use to unlock perks. We've only seen one of those, I think, so far, but I know it was one that you were also a big fan of because it plays into the films in a very funny way.
Yes, so there is a perk called True Grit, and this is, if you've played Borderlands and you know what the second wind sort of ability in that game is, when you go down, it allows you to come back. It's a second life, essentially. But True Grit, the way it does it, it's perfect. He drops the hat, and then you pick the hat up and put it back on your head. Hopefully it plays the music sting, and then you get your second life and you get to carry on.
Я чувствую легкую душку, ребятки. Я даже не знаю, как это комментировать, если честно.
Those films are, and finding a way to turn that into gameplay, I think that's super smart.
I think they're doing a lot of things to play on your expectations and what you want to see from indie, which is obviously going in, finding relics, like going into tombs, finding all these historical secrets, but also kind of subverting your expectations. Right at the end of the demo is a funny moment where they drop down into this tomb and you're expecting snakes, but it's actually scorpions. A fun little twist. I mean, he's not a fan of bugs either. That's more a Temple of Doom, a lot of bugs in Temple of Doom. You're expecting snakes. I'm sure there will be snakes in this game. We haven't played it yet. We don't know how it feels. I'm hopeful about it, but that really seems to have like cracked the essence of Indiana Jones. And it does, like, and I said cliche, but kind of does feel like you're playing an unofficial, well, almost an official film of Indiana Jones. They've got it spot on, and that includes even Troy Baker's impersonation.
Самое забавное, что вроде бы по идее они должны одинаково плюс-минус показывать все. У Xbox одно показывается, у Gamescom другое. Хотя по сути они одну и ту же выставку транслируют.
95% of the game is first person.
I'm happy
with that. That is what separates it from the likes of Uncharted and Tomb Raider, I think. Otherwise, it would be, to an extent, a bit of a copy of those games and the Hitman games. There are moments where it switches to third person. Some of those, I think, work well. Like the climbing, that makes sense. This in third person. But then, like every whip swing you do, for like a second cuts to third person. That is a little jarring for me at the moment. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I find the kind of there's almost a bit of Deus Ex, if you know the modern Deus Ex games have when you go into cover, it goes into third person, which feels like very natural for it. It feels like it works for the gameplay mechanics. It is obvious in this that when he does the whip crack to swing himself over a chasm, that they want to have that kind of cinematic element of indie. But the moment is so small, it's a second, so you're going out into third person for a second and then back into
Подожди, они что, будут ходить по стендам и показывать это все? Что-то понять не могу.
I hope that there's a toggle that I can switch that on and off, because quite honestly I'd rather play the game mostly in first person. It is a game that is clearly built for first person. And I want to play most of the game that way.
Especially because like the details of some of these levels, it's a beautiful looking game, and I kind of, I think you can be immersed in third person games, but first person does give you that extra little boost to that, I think. And seeing some of these levels and holding the journal up in first person, it all feels very tangible, and I like when games feel tangible.
Я поняла.
And it's another way they're really
Да, короче, будем смотреть там, у кого официально, то есть это кто показывает. Я смотрю на канале Gamescom, поэтому.
Hitman is one of the funniest games you can play because it allows you to do funny things, and I think even in the melee combat you see funny little slaps and stuff like that, which is very funny. And also the way you can just pick up weapons from around the world, like there's a shovel on the floor, pick it up, hit someone with it once, and then that weapon will shatter. So you can't overly abuse that system.
Я даже не знаю, как это комментировать, извиняйте.
Not anything in the world, but pick up little things and just use them.
Подними Милфу, говорит.
Old Valve games would with their physics engine, just kind of making weapons from the world. And I know you saw a little bit of Valve design to it. We don't want to overhype how much design work's going into this, but there is a little bit of that in there, I think.
Yeah, I think the kind of the providing as many possibilities within a space as possible. They did talk about how there's a lot of linear sections, but then there's a lot of kind of I guess you call them wider linear sections, which is where you get to make more of your own choices on how you progress through the mission. And that's where we're going back to the disguise system. you have disguises that work for particular story sections.
Бляха, они серьезно? Вот такой вот звездеж будет всю трансляцию?
That would require a similar presence. You can switch back into that, and so that combined with the like these slightly more
говорят, поднимите
like
ее.
what Chronicles of Riddick had, where it's like, okay, you're in an area, but there's sort of 4 routes that you can see that might go through it, and then this one is I can pick up this rolling pin and batter the Nazi with a rolling pin, but then I could maybe grab this guy's gun and fire a few rounds of that off.
Бляха, да что за душка-то? Извините, немножечко душат. Чувствую немножко душки.
But it's got that freedom, which reminds me a little bit of Valve. Valve was always kind of hot on, you're in first person, as long as you can do things around with the environment, you'll find a solution. I'm hoping that's what it's going to get from. That's what it was suggested from what I was seeing.
I'm very excited for this game. I was already very excited for this game as a huge Indiana Jones fan. I'm just glad now we've seen an extended bit of gameplay that there is a lot more to it. And I thought we maybe I was just getting a first-person Uncharted, but I like these stealth elements, the disguise elements, a lot more deeper systems than I thought maybe this game would have. And yeah, I can't wait to see more. Really, yeah, fantastic.
Вау, фантастик просто.
Diablo 4 was one of last year's most addictive games, and if you thought you were done, they're about to pull you right back in. Here to tell us about the upcoming Vessel of Hatred expansion, I'm joined by Brett Gibson, game director, and Tiffany K. Watt, production director. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Господи, это вся такая презентация будет, походу.
Diablo 4, October 8th, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. And I believe at the show here at Gamescom, you're showing a new trailer for the Pale Hand Mercenaries.
Yes.
What do we need to know about this crew?
Oh my God. First off, we wanted to find a way to allow players that play specific classes to round out their builds with certain powers that you might not actually have in that class specifically. So, like,
блин, ребятки, это торба. Подожди, то есть они, получается, сейчас будут нам показывать куски вот этих вот трейлеров, которые показывали вчера. На 2 часа растянули это все. А сейчас они растянут еще на 4, походу, плюс 2 часа болтовни. И будут рассказывать то, о чем их игра и почему именно их игру надо купить. Я вообще ору.
Personally, a little scared when I go down into the dungeons, so having a friend with me makes it a little bit friendlier. And like Brent was saying, being able to customize your playstyle, and no matter what build you have, whatever class you're playing, there's going to be a mercenary that you can customize to really, I think, enhance what you're doing, and being able to switch them on the fly, and just all the features that it brings to the table is really exciting.
Типа чуть-чуть геймплея там показывают, что-то. Так это вчера все было.
Sly Eldkin, the Cursed Child.
Yes.
Variana, the Berserker Crone, and Subo, the Bounty Hunter.
Я худею.
And I believe you encounter them like during as you complete quests in Vessel of Hatred.
Yeah.
Is it a specific order, or can you find them on your own?
Не, ну это я так наобум сказала, что 4 часа это трешачина будет. Ладно, я надеюсь, что хотя бы в 9 часов вот эти инди-показы и инди-игр будут получше.
So they all have their own side quests that really lean into their human story, which we won't spoil anything here today. But they're wonderful human stories for each individual one.
Wonderful, говорит, human story. И пофиг, что здесь от хуманов только название. Ну, чипсики накидаю, ничего, спасибо.
You know, bringing that little bit of role playing into your gameplay.
Углеводную еще обминку сделаем. Секунду. Спасибо.
There's a couple of different ways that you can bring them in. One, if you're playing by yourself, you can bring them in as a follower, so they'll be running around the world with you. But we also have a reinforcements feature, which is no matter how many people you have in your party, you can assign them to come in and use their special powers under certain conditions that you define. And so you might be in the middle of combat and say that, you know, on basic, have here.
Короче, ребята, походу, вот какая я сегодня, у меня сегодня так башка болит, если честно. Так, ваша любимая рубрика «Угадайте, что у меня в руках». Я это уже открываю.
No, I was just gonna add. I think that's just to enhance on what Brent was saying.
Я это уже открыла, я это держу в руке
being
уже.
able to trigger the reinforcements to key actions that are happening during gameplay. You can be a little bit more passive with it, like Brent mentioned. If you
Это, короче, вкусненькое, можно сочетать с чипсиками.
But you can also attach it to like, hey, I just took a lot of damage. Now I want Reaper to come in and
Понятно. Вы меня, короче, как каблупленную знаете, да? Это правильный ответ, это мороженое. Я сейчас буду делать грязь, я сейчас буду.
Yeah, you know, it's the story of hatred is a longer story that we want to tell. And so when you left off in the base game, you defeated Lilith and
ну вот сейчас у Xbox Pass of Exile походу показывают. У Xbox тоже какая-то болтовня, херня, мурня и прочая фигня. Не, у Xbox тоже показывают.
What is sort of that allowed you to bring into Diablo 4 that wasn't
Diablo тоже у Xbox показывают, все нормально.
Oh man, all sorts of stuff. I mean, you've got this dark gothic setting with the base game, and to be able to come in and bring something as fresh as the jungle is pretty amazing.
Весь прикол, я просто сейчас вижу трансляцию Xbox, и параллельно вот это тоже. На Gamescom именно к ним туда приехал живьем вот этот вот чел, мужик. А у Xbox у них только предзаписанный видос, типа, что за игра и прочее. Поняли, короче?
Amazing monster families to the game. So we have the Hollows, the Dregs, and a fan favorite, the Lacunae. So that's really, really exciting. I think finding new monsters and just defeating them is a core part of the fantasy of Diablo 4. So I can't wait to see what people's reactions are to the families.
So there's a new class, Spiritborn. Any tips or tricks for people who are going to be jumping into this new class?
Oh man, this is the most experimentation that you're going to see in any class. I actually think it comes down to playstyle preference. So the tips and tricks are really based on what style you prefer. You know, I'm a Jaguar player. I really like. We were talking about this earlier. I got the coin in my pocket. Where like I like the fast-paced speed. I like being able to cover a lot of ground.
Вообще, одно и то же крутят, блин, по 5 раз, ничего нового не показывают.
Is really fantastic because not only you're covering a lot of ground, but you're also leaving that damage out into the field at the same time. So I just encourage people to get in and like see all the emergent experimentation that they can get with the class and come up with things that even we haven't thought about.
Yeah, it's really great that you, again, I think that maybe the key of this expansion is being able to customize your playstyle and the class.
Не, ну, ребят, если я усну сейчас на стриме, то как бы...
It's kind of gross to think that I would say I'm a centipede player because I like centipedes, but I am a centipede player, so I like the poisons that they bring, the damage over time playstyle, and
Говорит, фристайл какой-то.
I need to add some Jaguar into that. So
we had a long debate this morning.
Чё они ржут-то?
There's a new co-op dungeon. What
к чему тут смеяться?
That has to be tackled in co-op. You can't do this alone.
Oh man, so there's we talked about this a lot. There's a lot of things that are going in on that, and I feel like the cooperative mechanics that we put into place need to be discovered because part of the challenge is that we're not going to be overly forward with what those are. So it's just know that you need to go in with somebody that you
это у них лагает, кайф.
Know that you need to communicate. Забуферизировалось. In a way where it's not required. But the experience is quite fantastic because at the core it's still Diablo combat, right? But the mechanics that are coming up really are like...
Бляха, ну так затирать серьезными лицами о том, какая их игра потрясающая, невероятная и просто, когда, блин...
Yeah, you got to jump into Dark Citadel with 2 to 4 players. But if you don't have any friends that are online at the moment, you can always use our Party Finder feature, which isn't just limited to Dark Citadel.
Что ты моргаешь? Все, раздуплилась.
Any of the content, but I think that's an exciting new social feature that we're bringing to the table as well.
Very cool. Diablo 4, it's been out for over a year now. It's awesome to see you guys still supporting it. We're excited to jump in. Vessel of Hatred in October. Thank you so much for coming by the show.
Встретимся в октябре.
Diablo 4's Vessel of Hatred expansion is out October 8th for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. But right now, there's more Gamescom Studio coming up right here on IGN.
Какой IGN, блин? Мы на Gamescom.
IGN has the most thorough, easy to use, and high-tech maps out there. Period. And by high-tech, we mean it. We've recently added features like personal notes.
Ну немножко я уронила мороженку. Кофе, да, кофе надо будет сделать. Я просто была на улице, и сейчас, знаешь, как-то после улицы кофе вообще неохота пить. Мороженка говорит, чипсы, как это? Привет. Я косплею разработчиком. Серьезным лицом сейчас буду задвигать какую-то телегу. О, купи фигурку, купи меч, купи кусок хлама, купи. 50 баксов, ты видел, она стоит.
Like the Wasteland-ready Fallout Vault 33 hoodie, which pairs perfectly with the working wearable Pip-Boy. Plus, high-quality IGN store exclusives.
Блин, тупо дизайн как в Алиэкспрессе. Я в ахере. Я окажу, что хочется спать, но ты продолжаешь стримить. Да.
And the best part, you don't even need to leave the house to go there. Just head to store.ign.com and start shopping today.
Чипсы с мороженым. Себе надавали щей, каждый хавает как хочет. Это уже Gamescom Азия началось, что ли? Если бы новый трейлер GTA 6 показали, тогда бы у всех лицо просто разрывало факт. То, что сейчас показывают, это херня полная, согласна. Владимир, вообще от души спасибо. Просто целую тебя в пупок.
You're watching IGN's coverage of Gamescom 2024. Next year, we're getting to journey into the Forbidden Lands to meet new and old monsters in the wild. See what I did there? Today, I'm joined by Rose.
Ой, давайте я, короче, свои мишки немножко замаскирую.
The director of Monster Hunter Wilds, and Patrick Shields, our wonderful translator. Hello.
Hello.
So, first of all, I have to thank you.
Так, мать, ты ж должна шпрехать на их.
On a hunt. So, I do have to ask though, how will this work with the guild cards?
今回武器2つ持っていけると思うんですけど、ギルドカードに登録するのはまた2つに増やすことなんでしょうか。
そうですね。
Ой, нет, так еще хуже
ギル
стало.
ドカードというもの自体がちょっと今回いろいろ形式を変えてたりしますので、またそのあたりは追加の情報をお待ちいただければと思います。
Whether or not you have something exactly like the guild cards from previous titles is something we'll talk about a little bit down the road, but I'm sure you'll be happy with what we've done. That's just
Ёб твою мать, даже субтитров нету. Прикинь, даже субтитры не впихнули сюда.
So, then let's go back to the weapons. I'm so curious if there were any weapons that were least used that you really want people to play and try out this game.
Уже 8 часа там Silent Hill выходит. Да.
使った武器で今回強調したかった武器とか使ってほしい武器があったのでしょうか。
まあ一つは狩猟笛については、
На Xbox есть интересные субтитры?
どうしても出しきれなくてサポート武器という立ち位置がすごく強かったんですけど、今回は勝ち回っていくとダメージが出せるような設計になってますので、
английский и все. Нахера они нужны тогда те субтитры, если их нельзя перевести на любой язык мира? Ёб твою мать.
But perhaps in previous games it was a little hard to do decent damage output compared to the other hunters in your party. So
это Monster Hunter World, по-моему, если не ошибаюсь.
Can also be right up there in the damage output with their friends.
I'm gonna say I could not get a handle on the hunting horn. I was awful with it. So I was the worst support player. So what's something that you took from Monster Hunter Worlds and Monster Hunter Rise into Wilds?
У меня это жопа полная, ребятки. Я не думала, что эта демонстрация будет такая парашная. Просто, ну мы так чисто посмотрим, чисто полялякать, потрындеть, вся фигня там, похавать. Как бы вы можете сидеть параллельно свои делишечки делать. Я вообще думала ноготочки сделать. Я, наверное, короче, вот в 9 часов, когда начнется индюшатинка, я ноготочки буду пилить сидеть. Ну, потому что, извините, вот это столько сидеть, может, даже сейчас похаваю, сейчас начну делать их. Это уже отросło, капец.
And just taking a look at how our approach was on each title and what we learned from them and how the players reacted to them. And I think in Monster Hunter Wilds we've really taken these many years of experience and finally been able to put it into the ultimate Monster Hunter game.
まあ一つ言うと例えばセクレトとかっていうところで言うとやっぱり今まで結構
В журналах, кстати, да, кайфовые были демонстрации игр.
アクションの幅も広がってまあワクワクするっていいんですけど、その分やっぱり迷いやすいとかっていう欠点があったりとか、移動までに時間がかかったりとかっていうまあ欠点もあったんですけど、まあそういうのはセクレトがある程度オートで行きたいところまで行ってくれたりとかする手助けっていうサポートにもなるので、まあそこら辺は一つの例として今までの経験が生きている要素ではないかなと思います。
One example is that as the series has progressed, the maps have gotten bigger and bigger.
Инди-игры тянутся часа на 3. Ну прекрасно. Я ногти как раз могу сделать.
Bearing that in mind, we've added the new Sacred Mount, which you're able to not only...
Говорю, классно признаться, что вчера смотрели, то сегодня посмотрим. Они охерели просто-напросто, понимаешь? Они типа впилили вот эту тему. Они вчера просто трейлеры на 2 часа показали. А сегодня они базарят типа с разработчиками, понимаешь? И параллельно еще трейлер показывают. Нахера вопрос? Я сейчас посмотрю, что сегодня вообще должны показывать. Где мой телефон? Сейчас скажу. Сегодня вообще должны показывать. Что, ребятки? Ой, где же оно? Ой,
そうですね。すべての武器がセクレトに乗った状態から攻撃することができます。ただ攻撃の種類自体は限られています。
Сегодня должны показывать.
時間的な効率っていうのを求めるならばやはり地上に降りてい
Ну написано же, правда, на
Госовской,
но какая разница, думаю.
All 14 weapons support attacking while mounted on the Sacred, not just the ranged weapons.
Diablo 4, Diablo Immortal, Stalkач, Atomfall, Starfield должны показать, Age of, ёб твою мать, Mythology, Overwatch 2, Forza 5, Dragon Ball и Dustborn.
Okay, that's actually amazing. I mean, I'll take the tips from the pro, so I won't just write them out and be scared. So we do see that monsters are going to be able to kind of form a herd and attack you. This sounds terrifying. Why did you decide to implement this into this game?
モンスターが群れて攻撃してくるようなシーンがあったんですけど、個人的にはすごく怖いと言いますか、なぜこういう要素を入れようと思ったんですか。
今回人間も含めたモンスターハンターの世界というのを描こうと思ってまして、そのためには少しその人間に対しても攻撃的だったり怖い部分っていうのもモンスターにはありますので、そういうところを強調するためには群れみたいな表現っていうのが、今回の技術を生かした形として望ましいなと思ったので今回採用しています。
Сейчас нам показывают Monster Hunter, хотя его мы смотрели вчера, в списке его не должно быть. Я поняла, они, короче, будут разбавлять большие какие-то релизы вот этой вот фигней, которая вчера была, походу.
If we give the monsters some food, is that something that could possibly make them, we could befriend them?
群れのモンスターに餌を与えて友達になったりすることは分解はできるんですか。
毒の肉を食べさせることはできます。
Что-то там они показывают. Такой говорит, у меня большие на самом деле, если ты не веришь. Так что ты тут не смейся надо мной, понял?
So, what are the new monsters that you're very excited for players to come across?
Very excited, ёпта.
このモンスターはユーザーに注目してほしいっていうものは限られていなかったと思います。
Я вам могу сказать, что в Xbox'овской ни хрена тоже ничего не лучше. Они сидят и базарят сейчас просто. Вот я параллельно открыла.
昨日の PV でもたくさん流れてきたレダウという砂原での一番頂点に立っているモンスターは非常にこうビジュアル的にもかっこよくてですね、しかるべき強さも秘めてますので、今回試作のデモ版でもプレイいただける形になってますので、なんか見ていただけたら嬉しいなとは思ってます。
Ну, Monster Hunter это ж вообще, в принципе, она... Как это? Open World, если не ошибаюсь.
You will have seen it in the trailer that we released yesterday. It's the top of the food chain. It's the apex predator of the Windward Plains, the desert area.
Это просто торба, ребята. Блин, надо опрос опять, знаете, потом буду сделать. Что было поинтереснее? Смотреть, как я дубашу крапиву палкой 5 часов или смотреть Gamescom?
I love palicos. I think they are the most adorable things ever. I wish they were real. Do you have palicos of your own at home, aka cats?
子供アイドルが大好きなんで猫が好きなんですけど、猫を飼ってたりしますか、お二人、個人で。
僕は犬です。
僕はトカゲです。
Вот этот такой стесняшка, я не могу. Не кажись, они на японском базарят. Лучше посмотреть 25 минут геймплея Kingdom Come. Крапива тут побеждать однозначно. Мы потом посмотрим геймплейный этот Kingdom Come.
Stick around for more Gamescom 2024 right here on IGN.
Copa City.
Copa City is a football
О, я правильно еще и произнесла.
Copa City features 3 meticulously crafted
Что это такое, твое Copa City?
Like Warsaw and Berlin, and includes 6 world-class football clubs like Flamengo, Arsenal FC, and FC Bayern Munich. Here's an exclusive first look at alpha gameplay.
Football. Every time before the ball is set in motion on the pitch.
Ёб твою мать, мы это вообще видели, знаете где? Мы же это видели на на презентации 2 месяца назад вообще. Они же рофлят. Типа игра, где надо разместить всех болельщиков всяких там и приезжих во время какого-то там игрового события. GTA вряд ли покажут. Если только это не был какой-то мега-супервал сюрприз. А, из-за тебя? Понятно. Copa City. Не, ну по кайфу показывать то, что было 2 месяца назад. Прикольно.
The average Cinefix movie list features nearly 100 different films and approximately 25 minutes worth of wall-to-wall deep dive analysis. To simulate that pace for this 30-second ad, we're featuring 26 different films, and before you say it, no, that math does not check out. We're not math people, we're movie people. We can't even count down from 10 without ending up at like...
А вы видите, что они больше 5 секунд показывают каждого кусочка фильма, чтобы авторские права не прилетели.
IGN Playlist is the best way to track your game collection. Now you can even import your entire Steam library to Playlist, making it easier than ever to review games, show off your collection of the world, and finally chip away at that massive backlog you keep meaning to get to.
Мега уверенно.
IGN Playlist, check it out.
Want the ultimate IGN experience? Check out IGN Plus. Members get exclusive deals and giveaways. Ad-free browsing, unlimited tracking on IGN Maps.
Это реклама IGN, ёб твою мать.
And with IGN partners. And best of all, free games. Get 30 days of IGN Plus for just $1.
Копа это чашка или кубик на испанском или и португальском.
IGN has the most thorough, easy to use and high-tech maps out there. IGN maps load faster with more markers than ever and are built for your phone as your constant companion to the biggest games. So start checking off markers for the game you are playing today. Can't find that final collectible you're missing? IGN maps are here to help. IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and best of all, free. You can even track your progress with interactive checklists so you know you reached that 100% completion. IGN has the very best, most complete and accurate guides. Every guide is tested and verified for you by experts. Just search for IGN when you search for guides.
Не, ребятки, я вам прям рекомендую что-то параллельно сидеть и делать, потому что вы закиснете еще нахрен. Вы видите, какой тухляк голимый. Я даже не знаю, что комментировать, ну, на этот счет, вот честно. Какой-то Starship.
You never forget your first draw.
Reinforcements inbound. Hang tight, demons.
Это какое-то хава новое.
From the moment those doors open up.
Или это что это? Десант.
Everything changes.
А я хотела сказать космические рейнджеры, а потом вспомнила, что это не то.
Hits the fan. It ain't the Federation you're thinking of. It's those who stand together.
Extraction inbound.
Those who fall. And those who stay behind. So we can fight another day.
Get to the Starship Troopers!
Капец, вода теплая уже стала.
Is why we fight.
О, картину по номерам вообще нормально.
Extraction complete. Third wave ready, command.
Starship Troopers. Да все, говори уже, говори, сидит, ждет. Так, мне тут новость рассказали. Говорит, а ты знаешь, что в Таиланде огромный питон вылез из унитаза и укусил мужика за член? Супер, ребятки. Эта новость намного интереснее, чем то, что происходит. Ёб твою мать, ты посмотри, кого там сзади поставили. О, это ж мужчина этот, актер, который играл в «Звездном десанте». Помните? Ля, этот вообще в семейниках пришел. Я поняла, я буду обсуждать их внешний вид, их одежду. Не лица, их одежду. Я смотрю, это все правильно делается. Константинович.
Just, I love the face mask that they've added in Starship Troopers Extermination. We didn't have that in the original, but we had coming out like this. That's a plasma bug, right?
Yeah. Let's kind of talk about that. There's some new bugs in the game.
Yeah, we wanted to show off some of the bugs that I guess people have seen already in the early access.
Кто такой сидит, думает, ёб твою мать, что я тут забыл?
Was obviously the tanker bug, which I suppose we've teased. People knew it was coming. It's in the movie, and that's always been a thing we've tried to push throughout development of the game. Is that you're going to get to live action role play the movie, and so if it's in the movie. We want to put it in the game, and so the tanker bug reveal.
Я понимаю, я говорю, позвали даже чела из этого, из фильма.
The tire bugs are huge.
Что по груди
obviously the big
демонстрировал.
reveal now when the tanker bug unearths from the ground. The music's at a great crescendo. You really start
Внизу
getting
будет еще второй стрим.
Сегодня. Obviously part of
в 9 вечера.
extermination is extracting safely, but sometimes someone has to stand behind and defend the base. And with the nuke, which obviously very impressive.
Good way of handling that.
100%. Is that the walk-in trigger?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is. Yeah, but with a nuke attached to it.
With a nuke. Yeah. Well, that was he held the nuke. That was the walk-in thing.
Yeah,
When I said to him, "What are you trying to do?" Kill, and he goes, "I'm just trying to kill some bugs." That's Seth Gilliam.
А он немец, да?
The Walking Dead. They named it after him. These people are.
У него такой акцент.
Off-world is so incredible. They take the time to look at all the details, and they would add these little things that people would know that watch the movie.
Yeah.
Or go back and watch.
Yeah, basically kind of cram in as many Easter eggs as possible for the.
Не знаю, пить
fan
хочу.
service.
I was overwhelmed with them.
Casper, I think you were saying this back at IGN Live, but like you recorded more.
Вы на меня смотрите, как я ем, будете еще говорить, что
I did.
That's wild.
It was so much fun. We were in there, and they'd throw something else at me, and then I'd go,
Да.
"Hey, what if we did this?" So we played when we were in there, and that was so fun for me to have people that they're like, "Oh, I got an idea," and they go, "Casper, that was great, but why don't you try this?" And then I'd be like, "Oh
my God, that's even better. And then I'd throw something else, and I'm like, oh no, that was perfect. So we had so many different things that we added, so there were so many levels. But they already come up with the dialogue. It was so incredible. It reminded me of just like what Ed Neumeyer wrote, who wrote Starship Troopers.
And you're sort of playing like the general. You're like just commanding everybody, you're bossing everybody around, and then the actual...
You get your orders, and the narrative is delivered through Casper and other voice actors. But essentially, you play a trooper, and you've got your NPC kind of characters that join you. They've all got their own backstories. They've got their own kind of personalities. And you essentially go through these series of missions for what is Chapter 1, which will be available at launch. We are then periodically throughout the ongoing live service going to be delivering more chapters. Chapter 2 has already been recorded with Casper, but we'll be able to continue the story through more free DLC that comes out later.
Cool, and it's also like 16-player co-op.
No, that is a single player, but 4-player squad. Essentially, you're an elite special operations group that are, Casper, the general, has kind of commanded you and cherry-picked you as the best of the best.
Мне кажется, что эта серия, в принципе, как и серия фильмов про «Звездный десант», проклята нахрен.
Yeah, which is awesome, and obviously, like you've got.
Потому что сам фильм такой, типа, спорненький.
What's some of the feedback you've gotten from early access, and what's the community brought to the table?
Yeah, I think people have really appreciated our obvious love of the franchise and wanting to put as much of what you see in the movie into the game. I think the particularly unique selling points of the game have obviously been the 16-player element. I think horde shooters, it's a super popular genre. But no one's doing that kind of 16-player element. I think other games always treat you as the hero. You very much can make a difference by yourself, but with 16 players, you have to team up, you have to work together, and so the unique roles that you play in that squad, and take it from our studio's experience with Squad, the game is a 100-player game. We've really tried to elevate that element of teamwork.
Я поэтому ем, чтобы не храпеть.
It's a lot of fun. What they do is they even benefit. You get perks if you help other people, if you're trying to help other troopers out. I mean, they've been very thoughtful in this, and it's incredible. I go out and I play all the time.
I've been streaming the game myself.
I've been streaming it and also just going out and steaming it by myself, just going out, and I go as General J. Rico, and people are like, wait a minute, you sound like the guy from the movie, and I go, I am, and they're like, no way!
Yeah, great for random players to just, I recognize that voice from somewhere.
Yeah, that's
so cool.
О, тупо как я, короче,
сидит. There's a lot of bugs in the game. Do you have a particular favorite in the game, or just the general Starship Troopers?
Of course, I love killing the warrior bugs. I love that new Tiger warrior bug, and the tanker bug has always been my nemesis. So that's been my thing. So I am so excited that this has been revealed. I've been wanting to talk about it. I've been wanting to see it, and I've been wanting to play it. And you can get on top of this bug, and you can blow it up.
You do the grenade thing?
Yeah, you can climb on it. Yeah, that's
shoot it.
It's weak point. Yeah.
And more than one person can. Yeah. But I also love that they have carnage, so that the bugs start piling up here and they don't disappear. You have to deal with the carnage as it comes. It's incredible. So the bugs pile up and they can crawl over and get in.
Это массовка.
You can blow them up. You can go through them. I mean, it's incredible. And they don't. You go away. You come back. All those bodies are still there. They don't disappear when you kill them.
That is disgusting. That's just awful. I love it. I'm very into it. I guess I'm just sort of. Can you give us an idea where we're at with the single player story? Like what's at stake? Where does this fall in the general canon? Can you?
Yeah, I mean I don't want to reveal too much because obviously it is a narrative and kind of spoiler territory if I give too much. But essentially, General Rico, who's now a general again.
Бляха-муха, мне их жалко, этих челов, которые сзади стоят. Просто смотри, вы их одели. Вот эта девочка, которая там стоит, такая думает, ёб твою мать.
Secret, not so secret missions that. I feel like I'm walking to
You do this so that
Посмотрите на задний фон.
You can move up in the game. It also gives you it's incredible. I haven't seen it yet. I've only done the voice for it. I've heard what they've said. I'm gonna go take a look at it today.
Yeah, but it's important to allow people to have their troopers experience by themselves if they want. But also, I think for a lot of people to get them ready.
У этого чела в шортах, сейчас вот у него кахонесы вывалятся уже.
They want to play the single player. They want to feel like they can do their part and not. Be the sore thumb that sticks out.
Do their part. I see what you did.
Yeah, you like that. You're picking up what I'm dropping down. Yeah.
How chaotic does it get when you've got 16 people just running around? Is it just
yeah, I think that's the thing when you first start. It is literally like herding cats kind of thing. But towards the end, I mean, especially when you get to the higher difficulties.
Вот, смотри, уже прям вот, и уже покажется такой, опа, кукутики.
Everyone knows what the medics do, the snipers do, what the engineers do.
Yeah, we were just talking about this because I've been playing. I've been going out just playing, and I'm like a newbie again. So I'm like totally a noob, which is incredible because I was an OG in the old days, but now I'm a noob again. But I've been playing, and And when I'm playing, sometimes you have to have your medic, you have to have engineers, you have to have a ranger, you have to have a sniper, you have to have all the different people. If you get a whole team together and they all work together, cohesiveness, you can be successful. I had an incredible game I played with all these random people, and we were just playing. Like, I can't believe you're here. And I just went in with these people that knew what they were doing. The engineers built an incredible base.
Я что-то заслушалась, как этот дядя базарит.
You get all the material you need to get to, to build and get your weapons and get everything up, and then you go out and you kill the bugs. The hordes come, you kill them, and then you have to get extracted. It's incredible.
Victory. I love it. Everybody's got to do their part. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming by.
Thanks for having us again.
Thank you for just providing backup. I love it. You can check out Starship Troopers Extermination right now by enlisting for Steam Early Access, and the full version will mobilize on PC and new-gen consoles October 11th.
Want the ultimate IGN experience? Check out IGN+. Members get exclusive deals and giveaways.
Говорит, им надо было добавить экшон. В один момент врываются жуки, начинается пальба, смерть, кишки и кровь. Этот чел с отгрызной рукой говорит, покупайте игру, она огонь! Да, это было неплохо. Они рекламу влепили.
IGN Playlist is the best way to track your game collection. Now you can even import your entire Steam library to Playlist, making it easier than ever to review games, show off your collection to the world, and finally chip away at that massive backlog you keep meaning to get to. IGN Playlist, check it out.
IGN Store has it all. From clothes and collectibles to vinyl records,
Смысл старье, новое придумать не могут. Все новое, хорошо забытое старое.
Dungeons and Dragons, and more. Whatever your pop culture passion, you're guaranteed to find something you love. There are new and exciting products hitting the store every week.
Я когда смотрю на такой прекрасный бодипозитив, мне не хочется есть чипсики.
Plus, high-quality IGN Store exclusives like the powerful and spicy Star Wars Dark Side hot sauce by Truff. We've even got merchandise for you to rock while tuning into the IGN shows and podcasts you love. Or cap off a long day by relaxing to the soundtracks of your favorite video games, like Cyberpunk and The Last of Us. And the best part, you don't even need to leave the house to go there. Just head to store.ign.com and start shopping today. The IGN Store. You deserve it.
IGN has the most thorough, easy-to-use, and high-tech maps out there. IGN maps load faster with more markers than ever and are built for your phone as your constant companion to the biggest games. So start checking off markers for the game you are playing today.
Говорит, могли бы и заблюрить. По факту.
What's up, everybody? We are here at the IGN store, which is right next to the Gamescom studio booth in Hall 7
IGN store, IGN приложение, IGN сайт, IGN фигурки. О боже, бля. Говорит, раз там не ответил, тут еще в смысле? Я тебе задала вопрос, ты меня проигнорировал.
We've got the World of Warcraft expansion coming up next. Then we've got Marvel Rivals, Avowed, Civ 7, and so much more, so stick around.
World of Warcraft has its 10th expansion pack coming very soon on August the 26th this year, and Azeroth is yet again in danger from a new dark force. Joining us today to talk about the war within are
вообще ни хера не понятно, что они там тараторят.
Welcome, folks. Hi.
Ой, это что за бабулечка? Я никогда не понимала вязаные вещи летом.
Well, I think that we have had, as you said, 10 expansions, and along the way we've left hints and clues and little hooks that remain that we can then pick up later and continue. And that was our goal, actually, with this 20th anniversary World Saga, is to start pulling some of those threads back together. And so it's going to feel pretty nostalgic.
Это типа самая старшая фанатка Варкрафта?
There's a giant sword in the desert in Silithus. So
она дизайнер.
it's not too hard, actually. There's lots of cool ideas. It's a
Круто.
deep mythology. And so we're able to easily find, you know, new stories to tell. But this one is a real culmination of a lot of threads.
Is it challenging to find like new stakes, new world-threatening things, or is the lore so rich that there's just hooks everywhere?
Yeah, no, there's hooks everywhere, and we've had this whole story about Azeroth the whole time. I mean, Azeroth is in many ways our main character. The world is the main character here. I mean, yes, the players obviously are, but it's all in service to our world. So it's pretty easy to always find, you know, another problem that's come up, and in this case, it's pretty epic. I mean, it's really enough story that we need to tell it in three expansions.
You're never short of like world-threatening dangers.
No.
Speaking of the world, Kazalgar is the new like subterranean region. What led you to that decision? Like, what solidified your decision to go like subterranean?
Well, one of the reasons the narrative really led us in that direction, right? The world soul of Azeroth, the stabbing of the world, and so this was a location where we felt there were many cultures and stories that we truly wanted to explore. For instance, Maria was mentioning, you know, the threads of what we've laid in the past, and in terms of inspiration, one of the pieces that the art team takes plenty of.
У меня уже от их демонстрации аллергия.
For instance, in our expansion, Wrath of the Lich King, we saw
Спасибо,
the
спасибо.
beginning. We saw hints of the Nubian Empire, but for the War Within, we thought, how amazing would it be to show them in all their glory? Oh, excellent timing.
What can you tell us about the new playable race, the Earthen? They look really incredible. They're different. They're a neutral race. You can play them as Horde or Alliance. So how's that going to be?
Yeah, the interesting thing about the Earthen is they have been isolated from the rest of sort of civilization for a terribly long time. And they were created, in fact, to take on specific tasks. They're in three different sort of categories. There's the machine speakers that were responsible for taking care of the great machinery that sort of powers
Вот это great machine, конечно.
and probably more of the
Питончик,
world than we
здорово.
know. There's the Oathbound, who are protecting the core way, which allows you to go down to sort of the center of our world. And then there's the Unbound, who are the ones that have sort of begun to doubt, because it's been a long time they've been here. The Titans gave them these edicts to sort of drive their need to do these things. But they haven't seen the Titans in a very long time, and they're beginning to question and wonder. So that makes them very interesting.
Поспим, может, а?
And then just in terms of how they look, you know, there's still that rocky, crystalline, gem-studded sort of look, which is really cool for customization. Tina knows a lot more about that part though than I do.
And they eat gems instead of food.
There's definitely hints of their culture that we make unique to them, right? They're made of rock, so they don't burn. They, you know, might remineralize in these little pools, so it's really fun.
Okay, I'd like to touch really quickly on like quality of life improvements. Can you tell us about warbands and how that's going to make everyone's lives easier, maybe?
Yeah, something that we really have been leaning into this expansion is really meeting the players where they're at and seeing how they're playing the game. So now we see so many players play multiple characters. They have alts, and we're really made this huge, you know, engineering effort to make it so that the way that they play for all their different characters combines together in a way that we're calling the warband.
Не, в 5 часов засыпать это, конечно, жестко.
There's a shared warband bank, and we think this will be a huge quality of life improvement for everyone.
Okay, and racing ahead, because we're so short of time, I want to talk about delves. Now these
Саму здравствуй.
like mini dungeons.
Сон под звуки
Kind
Gamescom.
of like party, or you can play them solo. It doesn't matter what group of classes you've got with you. How is that going to work? Like, what's the difficulty pitched at for those?
Yeah, we're so excited because delves are, again, meeting the players where they're at. There's definitely this flexible group situation, right? So there's a different scaling difficulty. So you could choose different levels depending on the level of challenge that you want, and you could go in either
У нее такой влажный разговор. Ну, типа, поняли? Она когда говорит, она такая... Вот это делает.
And they're super short, like what, 10-15 minutes?
I think that's one of the key parts, is that we were trying to think of our players that don't have a big block of time to play, but they want to jump in.
Да, что-то какая-то презентация вообще говно.
I have half an hour. I'm gonna go run a couple delves, you know.
Я буду есть, чтобы не уснуть, потому что я засну, я вам серьезно говорю.
Can't, you know, get together with 40 of their friends, you know, can just pop in and have this fun and then get back to what they need to do, what life, you know, is sort of requiring of them.
Like maybe 20 years ago when you started playing, you had all the time for raids, and now you've got 15 minutes of an evening to do a delve.
Yep.
All right, well, let's talk about raids, though. For the people who are raiding, can we talk about the major raid? It's called Nerobar, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we will find out through the course of our main story questing about a little bit of a
джинсики, кстати, они что такие у этой, у которой смайлик на кофте.
And this is where she has this is her palace, and we're going to need to go in there and attempt to defeat her. So it's a very exciting raid. It's in that classic Nerubian architecture. For people that are terrified of spiders, of which there are many, we have the option to turn on our arachnophobia mode, which turns spiders visually for you into crabs. But the queen doesn't change. The queen will always be the queen.
Okay, if you can handle just like one big
spider,
you're going to be okay.
Yes.
Unless you're afraid of crabs.
In which case, stick with the spiders.
She was very difficult to truly mistake for a spider. So we thought that, you know.
Was the arachnophobia mode like based on like community feedback?
It was a mix. But even our internal developers, you know, back when we made our original Rubians, you know, there were a lot fewer polygons than, you know, maybe, but now the art team creates models with such high fidelity that we thought, well, we have a lot of, you know, crab or crab-like things in the games. We think that this is a very simple way for us to.
Мы не ждем, мы смотрим игровой показ. Gamescom.
Okay, final question. Who is your favorite boss?
Мы ожидали, что будут показывать игры, они пят. Она такая воодушевленная вся, господи.
He also shows up in one of our dungeons, but you don't really defeat him. But then in the raid, he shows back up. So there's that continuity there. Yeah, yes, exactly. And there's these awesome platforms. So there's some really cool stuff going on in that fight.
All right, Maria, do you have a favorite?
I love Queen Ansarak. I think it is the most amazing fight. I'm really looking forward to having people get in there and get going, and just can't wait to see how that.
Слушайте, завтра такая же всратая будет презентация.
All right. World of Warcraft: The War Within is out August 26th for PC and Mac. That's less than a week away, but if you need something to help pass the time.
Как же они вот так вот говорят, интересно, потрясающе, такая прям презентация. О боже, обосраться, закачаться, закачаться.
From the creators of PUBG Battlegrounds, Dark and Darker Mobile is a brand new mobile game from the developers over at Krafton. Pioneering a new genre
Мать на спортике, смотри.
Dark and Darker Mobile incorporates dungeon crawler elements, a battle royale mode, and a medieval low fantasy RPG experience. If that sounds right up your alley, well, then you're in luck. Dark and Darker Mobile global registration is available now and is playable not just on iOS and Android mobile devices, but also on PC via Google Play Games. Check out a sneak preview of the game in this brand new teaser trailer. Enjoy.
Follow my lead! Shut up! You can't even run properly!
О, господи. Вот звездам, кажется, уже. Да, это вчера все показывали. Это не рукава. Рукав это ж полностью, когда вот так вот все забитая. Вся рука. А то так. Подобие. Игровую презентацию мы смотрим. Вау. Зато тоже 280к они отвалили. Чтобы это показали. Первоходка. Мы смотрим игровые показы от Gamescom. Dark and Darker. Мобайл! Я думаю, что всратая такая графика. Да, в принципе, все. Заебались с этим IGN Store'ом, идите в жопу. Это такое неуважение к людям, которые сидят и смотрят это все.
There are new and exciting products hitting the store every week, like the Wasteland-ready Fallout Vault 33 hoodie, which pairs perfectly with the working wearable Pip-Boy. Plus, high-quality IGN store exclusives, like the powerful and spicy Star Wars Dark Side hot sauce by Truff. We've even got merchandise for you to rock while tuning into the IGN shows and podcasts you love. Or
блин, опять эта девочка тут.
by relaxing to the soundtracks of your favorite video games, like Cyberpunk and The Last of Us. And the best part, you don't even need to leave the house to go there. Just head to store.ign.com and start shopping today. The IGN store.
The Cinefix Top 100. A list so secretive even we don't know what movies are on it or where they rank.
What do you mean you don't know?
Each episode will reveal one of the movies, talk about why it belongs, and finally find out where it ranks. Are any of the movies we've shown here even on the list? I have no idea, and it drives me crazy. Join us as we find out on Cinefix, IGN, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Да, походу. Я не могу понять, а что они все радуются.
Superheroes are supposed to fight supervillains, but as anyone who reads comics can tell you, a lot of the time they also fight each other. So it was a matter of time before we got a superhero shooter that pits iconic heroes against each other. Here to tell us about Marvel rivals, we've got Young Feng, Danny Koo from Marvel Games, and Wu Dingchen, who will be translating. Hello.
Hi. Hello. How are you?
Good. So we saw another two characters being introduced that I know a lot of people are really excited for. We've got Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Can you tell us how they play? What their kit looks like?
Okay.
Okay. Алло, раздуплись. Сейчас, 2 секунды. Натя.
The game. This terrified me. Like, honestly, I was there going like, wait. At first, I was like, what's attacking me? And I was like, how do I counter this? And I was like, suddenly realized there was a camouflaged opponent attacking me. It's like, I love that in this game, though. Is there are so many challenging enemy like components. Whether you're fighting bandits, whether you're like fighting these sort of enemies. And then I was like looting everything. I became like a loot goblin, where I was going into every building and just trying to find as many med kits so that I could stay alive.
And there is also a lot of pieces of content just near the locations. This is not a main quest. It's often not a side quest. It's just some encounters or narrative little stories to bring you an experience of discovering this real location, real zone, and it's it's not a fake world. It's full of small pieces.
Yeah.
And for me, I find it very interesting to discover. Even if I know the game pretty much, it's still the world map is so huge. So even for me, going back to some locations make me feel, oh, I didn't expect to find it here. Or they bring something here also. So for me, it's also like I feel the same wow effect when I discover something for me.
You really get rewarded for spending that time to look around the world and kind of try and find those caches, and it's going to pay dividends.
Yeah, it's one of the main goal in making this game is to bring as much freedom and allow player to be as he wants to be or she wants to be, to play the role they feel that works for them, and the player could like start being very rude.
Я могу отмотать
and,
назад.
Cruel.
Хотите?
They
Посмотрим.
can act totally different in this game as like a player who want to be on the friendly side. So there are a lot of freedom. It's rewarding.
Нет, это
so
такая
even being
кружка.
cruel, it's rewarding, but there is a balance. Like the game will also punish you for something.
No, 100%.
Я могу вам отмотать
I think
назад,
one of the main
посмотрите
things
чуть
is for
геймплея.
everyone who's been watching and wants to get their hands on the game, whether they're going to be able to
Сейчас
play.
посмотрим.
It's
Пусть
November,
договорит уже.
so it's not so much time left. And for us, we are like every day counts. We are doing everything possible to bring as Polish gameplay as possible, and I hope you enjoy it.
Well, honestly, from what I played at Gamescom, I can't wait to play it more. But thanks so much for stopping by. You can get Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl on November 20th. And of course, it launches day and date on Xbox Game Pass as well. But now to a new line of Xbox accessories, making a splash here at Gamescom. Take a look. But thank you so much, VJ. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Play video games.
Good job.
Leo has issues with his motor ability. He doesn't have access to a lot of things.
There's so many disabled people that deserve a shot to be like everyone else.
I want to be a part of this world.
So this is my Xbox adaptive joystick.
It allows her to use the controller without using both hands.
It just clicked to him. This is a joystick, I manipulate the character, and this is how I'm gonna move myself.
You've got every battle covered.
This is how we do it.
This is my thumbstick topper. You can get different sizes, and this is what I use to make it easier to maneuver. You can get far
Жора,
from
привет.
Xbox Line Lab. Then you can go somewhere else. and
Все
get
очень плохо,
printed.
Жора.
Be yourself, design it how you want. You're playing with your Xbox controller.
Right side, right side.
With the Xbox controller assist, when he needs help, when he gets stuck, I can hold
Ну
his
да,
stick of gas
Xbox
for him.
для...
Then he can control the rest. Having the joystick levels the playing
Ну вы
field.
видите все, короче.
Your character, you can fly. You can do everything you can't do.
He enjoys winning and will definitely let you know when he does.
Ну, Xbox пропихивает чисто свои товары. IGN пропихивают свои магазины, Xbox свои товары, короче, бляха. А игры где, ёпта, алло? Я в ахере просто.
Designed to give gamers more ways to play. And here with all the details, please welcome Xbox principal designer Chris Kujavsky and senior
На Gamescom на канале вообще какая-то параша. Будем показывать, будем Xbox'овскую, короче, смотреть. Ну его в шоку.
Thank you,
Maxie.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
How's Cologne treating you? All good? I love it here.
Yeah.
Amazing.
First time in Gamescom. This is pretty exciting.
Oh wow, first time.
Yeah.
Okay, the full
I'm
weekend
so
ahead of you. I can't
excited.
wait for you
Oh
to
my
see it.
gosh, oh my
So,
gosh.
I can't believe the Xbox Adaptive Controller launch is 6 years ago. But you didn't stop there. So, what's new in the world of gaming and accessibility?
Yeah, thanks, Maxie. So,
Почему у них такой всратый маникюр у всех? Ёб твою мать, что за фигня вообще? Я не понимаю.
It's designed to be a companion for our Xbox Adaptive Controller as well as other Xbox controllers, and that will be available to customers in 2025 early on. in 2025, as well as our Xbox Adaptive toppers that you can create with Xbox Design Labs. And these are really great, I think, especially for players who might have some difficulty using the thumbsticks on their controllers. They can choose from different shapes, customize the sizes, the height, and the width, and attach them to their adaptive joystick as well as their Xbox Wireless or Elite Series 2 controller, and really customize the way that they interact and grip with those thumbsticks on those controllers to meet their unique needs. So overall, we're just really excited to continue to expand the ways that players can play the games that they want to play and also how they want
Ну,
to
типа,
play.
сидит взрослая женщина, понимаете? Ну, это уже взрослая женщина, ей лет 45, наверное. И она себе делает маник, который, блин, вообще, ну, типа, ну, девочки лет 15 делают, и то не факт. Ну, типа, вообще, он не подходит вообще никак. Ни под одежду, ничего вообще.
From the community is crucial, and the gaming and disability community was also instrumental in feedback for creating the joystick. Can we hear
Или
more
она
about
сделала маникюр в цвет кнопок
Certainly at
геймпада.
Xbox, we are firm believers in the saying nothing about us without us, meaning we do not create accessible devices or features for the disability community, but rather we need to create them with the disability community. They are collaborators and they're the experts in their own experiences and needs. So from very early on with the adaptive joystick, we had our disability community be hands-on with early designs and functional prototypes.
Ой, там вообще
I know
всё
Chris
печально
will share a little
с
bit
этим,
more
да.
about that on the hardware design side. But even from a software perspective, you know, we really heard from our players that they wanted an affordable joystick for their adaptive controller so they can easily find that and have that as a resource to them, but also something that fit in seamlessly with their existing setups. So we knew it was important to create something that was highly customizable. You can remap all of the buttons on the joystick, you can create different profiles.
На выставке Gamescom, вот я сейчас смотрю, там тупо дублируют то, что было вчера.
But you can also use it without your
От
Xbox
IGN.
adaptive controller. You can plug it directly into your console or PC and use it alone, or employ Xbox Controller Assist to link it with another controller and kind of play that way. So, all in all, the disability community's involvement is absolutely critical in everything that we do, and we're so grateful to have them as co-collaborators, designers in these processes.
So many options.
Да, я вообще уже
How
древняя.
did the community feedback inform the final design of the adaptive joystick?
Yeah, like Caitlin mentioned, we're always looking for that feedback, and for this device in particular, we actually visited a hospital in Seattle that uses gaming as therapy for some of their spinal injury patients. So what that means is we went there with a box of prototypes, got feedback on the grip size, the shape, the number of buttons, where the buttons were located. They liked some of the stuff, they didn't like some of the stuff, and that's exactly why we're there. One of the most important things that we took away from that meeting
Ни
was
хера,
the
бляха-муха, не
importance of
происходит
having,
интересного.
the controller
Ни
be
хера.
mountable. Lets you put it in a lot of different positions, hold it stable if you're not able to hold the controller in your hand. So we added this threaded insert here that's the same one you'd find on a camera tripod or actually on the adaptive controller as well. And so that really allows you to use non-hand body parts with the controller easily. So we took that feedback and then used it to iterate on the design.
Это все, ну, типа, с такими серьезными лицами сидят, знаете, как будто вот летит на планету этот метеорит, они, типа, придумали способ, как его, короче, вот, ну, типа, убрать. Я не спорю, и для таких людей тоже надо какие-то вот штуки там, да, чтобы они тоже как-то приобщались ко всем этим играм и прочее, чтобы они как-то скрашивали свои дни, сидя дома там, допустим, да, чтобы не было так грустно, одиноко и прочее. Ну, короче, это все так подается, знаете, как будто, я не знаю.
One of the other things that's really important from a design,
Презентация просто говно полное.
And this maybe sounds obvious. It's an Xbox controller. It should look like an Xbox controller.
Вчерашнее то было пободрее, чем вот это сегодня.
That gamers have to use. They might look like hospital equipment or something you have to use rather than something you'd want to use, like Xbox makes cool products. We want our gamers to like want to use the products, and so using the same form language, the same color material and finish really helps it feel like a part of the Xbox family, and that goes a long way in removing some of the stigma that's associated
Gamescom. Я надеюсь, там не будет такой параши, как здесь. Если будет такая же параша, то я просто-напросто запущу этого обезьянку.
Yeah, it looks very well next to the adaptive controller, traditional Xbox controller. So.
Обсуждаю фильм, не смотри наверх. Ну да.
One question. So I heard the rumor that the idea of the 3D printable
files
came from an internal hackathon event. Is that true?
That is true. Very similar to the
Ребятки,
Xbox
у кого
adaptive
YouTube херово
controller.
работает, качайте плагины и всякие прочие, будет у вас он работать. Для браузера. Расширение поставьте, и будет вам счастье. Бить крапивой палку.
Really the high cost of adaptive accessories and doing custom setups like that. So knowing that 3D printers are a lot more available for at home or as a service, they combine these two ideas to create a great range of products that offer gamers a lot more options to customize their setup just exactly what they need.
And so much goes into the creation of these accessibility offerings, and especially what did the development for the 3D printable files for the adaptive thumbstick toppers look like? Who did you work with?
Yeah, very similar to the adaptive joystick and all of our other accessibility offerings. We, again, partner directly with the disability community, specifically a lot of hospitals and gaming accessibility charities that were doing a lot of 3D printing work. So we worked with them directly and kind of just asked, what are the most common shapes and designs that you all are creating or that you find work best for your players, and that's actually what informed the final 6 shapes that we have available today. So very direct, working with them and getting that feedback. Something that we also learned, though, by working with them is that, not everyone needs a full-on adaptive setup. Sometimes just minor modifications to how you interact with your thumbstick can be the difference that allows someone to play longer, more comfortably. It can also be the difference whether you can play all together. So based on that, we did want to create something that was available, discoverable, and easily customizable for customers, because through working with our disability community, again, more and more learnings non-stop, always coming in. We did learn that, not everyone has access to easily connect with these hospitals or these more tech-savvy maker communities or charities that are customizing these designs and printing them. And also not everyone at home knows how to 3D model and customize their own shapes at home. So with the Xbox Design Lab platform, it's as simple as picking your shape, using sliders to adjust the height and the width of those shapes, and you're given a free 3D printable file that you can then take to a printer. If you have access to, you can use a 3D printing service, and it's as simple as customizing from there with no 3D modeling knowledge required.
Я на это все смотрю, это просто какой-то звездец, если честно. Окей, вы типа делаете для геймпадов всякие штуки, чтобы люди могли, да, там это, у которых нету конечностей и прочее, что-то там играть. Возьмите им, сделайте нахрен эти самые протезы, и будут они спокойно сидеть себе и играть, как нормальные люди, блин, как все остальные. Не, мы будем делать кучу всяких вот этих финтифлюшек, пердюшек, блин, понимаете? И говорить, что это ёб твою мать изобретение какое. Покупайте наши геймпады за сколько они там стоят? За $100. Не, как и 100. Там, по-моему, 150 они вот эти вот xbox'овские. Все дорогущие, пипец.
In addition to BioWave, 8-Bit Do is both announcing and available today their Lite SE wireless controller. So all in all, when it comes to accessibility, a rising tide floats all boats, and we're just excited that our players have more and more options within the Xbox ecosystem to really choose what works best for them.
That's a lot of great news that you have today. So is there any place where we can look up all of the accessibility offerings?
Yes, to find out more about any of this accessible hardware that we've just talked about today, you can see the Xbox Wire blog posts. Or if you happen to be here at Gamescom like us, you can visit us in the Here to Help area in the Xbox consumer booth. You can get hands-on with any of the products, do some live demos. And if you're here on Friday, you can see Caitlin in a discussion panel in the community area as well.
Thank you so much to both of you for coming.
Thank
and
you
also I wanna
so
say thank
much.
You so much for
I'm
making
so
our booth accessible
excited.
so everybody feels welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Maxie.
Yeah.
Coming up, we'll get a look at the first expansion from Starfield. Find out what happens when nuclear
Starfield! Все проснулись.
converge in Atomfall. And Age of Mythology fans,
Так,
stay
Atomfall.
tuned. We'll take a look at what you can expect from the latest in the series. But first, it's time to explore ARY-26 once again in Revenge of the Savage Planet.
Stuck on a planet with nowhere to poop?
The juiciest burgers in the galaxy. Burger Square.
Wacky extreme learning smart bot from Hot Whiz.
Radical! I smush it down my throat.
Our new Ding Dong!
Greetings, brave explorer. We here at Alta Interglobal would like to welcome you to our newest venture, the colonization of space. You've spent almost a century hurtling through the universe in cryosleep, ready to begin your work on this strange alien planet. Unfortunately, changing market conditions have led us to the realization that space exploration is far too costly and unpredictable, and Alta has decided to cancel all future plans in space. I regret to inform you that you have therefore been made redundant. Your final check has been sent. We thank you for your service, and we hope you eventually find a way home. Good luck.
Good luck. Ну какая прелесть, грибочек. Мы куда-то летим. Вау, снег, зима. Вау. Очередная выживалка. Бургер сквиртует презентация, которую мы заслужили, да, вообще? Опа, червяк какой-то. Wow, very big for number 2. Crossspace, please screen Nordirium. Revenge of the Savage Planet. Офигеть. Не, ну вот этот милашек. Вот это он чертов,
What
конечно.
started as a journey to the savage planet has turned into revenge. Here with more on what fans can expect from Revenge of the Savage Planet, please welcome producer Noemi Lecourier and creative director Alex Hutchinson. Thanks so much for joining us.
We're very happy to be here.
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Thank you.
How's your Gamescom going so far?
Very
Так,
good.
бляха, еще на 10 минут
It
звездежа.
always is. There's so many games to play, so many things to see. But Alex, it's been a journey getting here, and not only to the sequel to fans, but also to evolve the game as a whole. Can you unpack that for us?
Yeah, I think it's been a pretty crazy half a decade for not only us, but for the entire games industry. So we originally began as a studio called Typhoon Studios. We made Journey to the Savage Planet. We were acquired by a large multinational. The pandemic happened. We updated the game, and on the day we shipped, that same multinational made us all redundant. So we found ourselves sitting around trying to figure out what to do. But luckily, we decided to reform. So we're a new studio, Raccoon Logic. And we've made this new game, Revenge of the Savage Planet.
Yeah, and Naomi, can you kind of talk about the world that we live in? With have we got the?
Я примерно так же начала на совещание или собеседование. Как я сейчас сижу?
I think Alex is going to talk.
Yeah, so before that. So obviously some of the big changes are that we've switched to third person.
Да, это они придумали эту планету.
It's still
Хорош микрофоны трогать, блин.
Попердывают микрофон. It's filled with wonderful, wacky, weird creatures. It's 4 planets now instead of 1 planet, so there's lots more to do and lots more.
Ну как можно сделать такую всратую презентацию?
You
Объясните мне,
survey,
пожалуйста.
scan everything, and collect and catalog. Here, as you explore the world, you're going to discover rewards, things to collect as well. The rewards are blocked by encounters with alien creatures, as well as
Что это за 10 FPS? Алло, это презентация или чё? Вы чё, блин, людям показываете? Черти. Что это за фигня?
And you know it's a sequel when you're swimming.
Very cozy, adorable, ёпта.
Add water in. You go in, no water.
Exactly.
Same type thing. But Alex, there's obviously a ton of creativity by the team to produce an incredible world, but perhaps players' take on its obstacles can be equally as creative. So in the world, like how are players going to approach the obstacles that they face?
Yeah, so we've taken a really systemic approach to open world design. So it's still a Metroidvania. You're still being blocked by different
Что это за футажи? Ёб твою налево, алло! Желешку, блин, расфигачивать, ты посмотри.
Where there's a single lock, but multiple keys. So you see different types of objects. Say if it's a cracked wall that you need to blow up, you could do it with a grenade. You could find a creature that explodes. Anything that generates an explosion will get you through. And so hopefully, as you see in this video, there's a little bit more systemic chaos than most games of its type.
So there's lots of creative ways to kind of like solve the problem.
Деньги ушли на презентацию, на видюху денег не хватило, блин, по факту.
You're going to get those different experiences.
Exactly.
Another way players can make their game their own is through customization. You know what I mean? Can you talk us through customization?
Yes, absolutely. So we've added tons of new outfits in the game. You can mix and match between the different outfits. So whether it's the helmet, the boots, or the gloves, all the outfits are inspired by sci-fi themes, famous like Star Trek. Here we can see some of the suits here.
Какой sci-fi? Какой sci-fi? У вас, блин, презентация, футажи на презентации лагают. Алло, какой sci-fi? Hi-fi может. Ну, могу еще понять. Это что, DLC для Starfield? Нет, это какая-то вообще рандомная игра.
Like you see here, the PC that you will use throughout the game. But there's also another section that you can fully customize with lots of things. So as you explore the world, you will find Alta crate containing Alta bucks. You can spend in the Alta store on furniture, accessories, and basically a lot of
игра, где ГГ пинает бедный грибочек и побеждает желешку. Не, ну за грибочек прям обидно было.
Lots of stuff from Gamescom will kind of like come with me. By the end of it, I'll have plushies for days. But co-op is such a big part of the game as well. Can you kind of talk us through that, Alex?
Yeah, so a lot of the team members have worked on different two-player co-op games, whether it was Army of Two or Far Cry 4. We've had a lot of success with it. We think it's an intimate way to play with your best friend, your partner, your kid. And this time we've made sure
не, ну она может быть веселая, типа будет, там прикольная, все, но хз.
But there's split-screen co-op you can play on the couch, and even cross-play, so you can play on any system with any other system.
I love playing split-screen games as well. Like I grew up playing with my brother. Like every single game that we get our hands on to do split-screen, that was always the way I went and played.
Perfect.
Yeah, also, it's so good you've been able to return to this franchise and bring tons for the fans. This game looks so fun, it feels like fun when to create it. Alex, can you tell us what you think the magic is for this game and what makes fans love it so much?
I think it's humor. You know, you see a lot of games that are very grey, very brown, very serious, and we wanted to get back to a world that was fun, that was upbeat, that was optimistic. We like the idea of
Нет, вообще
exploring
какой-то
space,
типа там местная фауна.
Matt Damon on the
Даже
moon,
не
eating
флора.
poop mushrooms or Mars. So like hopefully people see that the humor in this is in the gameplay as well as the script, you know.
Может, это презентация для инвесторов и спонсоров, а не игроков. Запустили онлайн, чтобы не нажать YouTube особенно. Не, ну, возможно, не отрицаю. Сейчас возможно все что угодно.
But also, really importantly, when a player is going to be able to get their hands on the game.
So it's going to come up
Когда DLC, ну позже чуть будет.
For more info, you can go on
О, в 2025 году выйдет вот эта игра.
And wishlist as well. Right now.
Please wishlist.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, and honestly, I can't wait to come and have a go with it as well. So thank you so much for joining us as well. And have you got any final words as well that you want to share?
О, сейчас будет так, coming up Starfield, так, и Age of Mythology. Сейчас две игры будут.
We've taken a spin in some new wheels and a turn with a new story in Starfield's first ever expansion, Shattered Space. But first, check out an action-adventure game about...
Не, ладно, у Xbox как-то более сделано пособраннее, короче, чем у этих товарищей было. У них хотя бы показано, что будет следом там и так далее, как-то более организовано.
Dustborn isn't about making the big and immediate choices.
А вот если я считаю себя грибом, я могу не чувствовать грибу? Я думаю, можешь. Еще никто выхода этой игры не заметит. Вот эта игра тоже была 2 месяца назад на презентации.
Oh, keeping secrets again, huh?
It's about making tough choices, about how to deal with the people in your crew, how to manage
Это еще не
them and pull them
Starfield.
together to do the job, and to make the compromises necessary to reach the end of the road and your own personal goals.
We'll be taking a different route north, through Liberty, Oregon. Before
Liberty? I would actually like an explanation.
I concur.
Think of the game as a way to write your own comic book as you play. Each chapter or issue starting with a new cover, displaying what you're about to experience, and each of them ending with a
Извините, я
comic
буду
splash
засыпать,
screen.
наверное,
These
периодически.
pages present key choices made in the previous issue that could have an impact later on. Whether a dialogue line or event plays out because of a choice made by the player, an icon will appear in the top right corner of the screen, allowing you to really get a sense of what could have gone differently. Stop it!
What the hell, Pax?
What now?
In the comic splash, you'll have access to more data, such as global stats about how many other players received this particular consequence, allowing you to gauge how popular this choice was. Some choices lead to crew mood change, which can have an impact on your relationship with them, but also on their personal endings.
Are you just gonna hover?
We didn't finish our chat.
No, we were finished.
Я смотрю, что за индюшатину, которая будет в 9 вечера, все меньше и меньше людей начинает голосовать.
Every key crew member in the story
Ну, типа, уже 70%, 70 на 30.
Based on choices made and actions taken by the player and PAX.
Ой,
Each
бляха.
coda is illustrated
Надо
by
что-то
a
взять
comic book
сожрать.
style splash screen,
Потому что я усну.
along with unique dialogues and events reflecting each character's current status. The player can at any time access the character codex to see which coda is the
Подожди, там
current
Age of
favorite.
Mythology, она когда будет? Подожди.
The crew respects you. When you're unhappy, they feel it. I'll keep that in mind.
Whenever a dialogue choice or action affects a coda, the screen will display.
Так, подожди,
a coda
получается, сейчас
motion, along
Starfield
with an
будет, потом
animation that
Age
tells
of
the player
Mythology,
how
ну если брать по
important this
списку
choice
смотреть
was.
еще.
It'll
Потом
be up to you
Overwatch
to
2,
decide how the road trip goes,
Forza
and how
Horizon
your
5, хотя ее
relationships
уже
will
показали,
evolve.
Forza. Видимо, они не
Or
по
break
списку
away
идут, а
from
как-то
your
в
on and
разнобой.
off again relationship with
Короче, я не
PAX,
знаю, сколько
or
еще будет
embrace it.
этой трешачины
Will Theo
идти.
loosen up with the crew, or
Сил
favor
нет.
his boss status? Will
Давайте
Ziggy
поговорим с
resolve
вами
her
прекрасном о
situations with
любви.
PAX? Discover how
О
it all
любви
unfolds in Dustborn. Available now.
к еде.
We're the Dustborn.
Если нас принесет подушку, развернет на весь экран вебку, ляжет спать, думаю, это интереснее, чем презентация. Давайте я кину туда, короче, это подушку и храпака давану. Чем больше игру не вижу, чем больше игру пиарят, тем больше шансов, что игра выйдет так себе по факту. Это всегда так. Перец через съешь или через... Фу, нет.
The fortress of stone and valor, which I struggled
Бляха, ну опять какая-то всратая игра для мобилки, да?
is now slowly crumbling.
Ну уже вот видно просто, что это какая-то трэш-комиссия. Столько ширпотреба, боже, выпускают, столько парашных каких-то игр, я не могу просто. Я понимаю, что типа там людям надо работать, денежки зарабатывать, там покушать. Я про обычных рядовых сотрудников говорю, вот. Но в основном это же, боже, столько говна выпускается, столько параши невероятной. Ларку постримила. Да это потом мы постримим. У меня кресло, оно качается только, по-моему. Не, я так точно сейчас усну. Шо? На приколе. My
people, my legacy, everything is collapsing. They hailed me as the once and future king. Only now do I understand. The horror of that title.
Это вот это Tainted Grail. О, мы в это играли, помните? Я стрим один запускала. Он в раннем доступе тогда был. Такой не до Skyrim.
Favorite massive open world space adventures, and it's just got its
Bex
first
Bomb.
ever expansion
Её
coming
зовут
up.
Bex
Here
Bomb.
with more on Starfield Shattered Space, please welcome lead creative producer
Ура!
Tim. Hi, Tim, how are you?
Doing fantastic. Nice to meet you, Bex.
Awesome, it's lovely to speak to you today. So let's chat opening night live. We had a really fun look at a very vibey trailer about some vehicles. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Настя говорит, сама игру покажи класс разработчикам. Ну, дай мне бабла, блин, так лямов 30 баксов.
To have this
Запусти
new
игру.
element that adds to planet exploration in the game. So, you know, we have these dynamic worlds with, you know, dense terrain, lots of very interesting obstacles, and like now those worlds are playgrounds to drive around on. We have a lot of in navigating that.
Это Starfield, ребятки, Starfield.
Forward boost. We have a weapon on there. It's like a lot of different
Starfield.
Just like fantastic gameplay opportunities for players.
Yeah. Super exciting, and Vasco looked like he was having a good time as well in the back there. Love that. Now let's talk a wee bit about the story in Shattered Space. It's very dark and mysterious.
А что, собственно, поменялось?
Tell me and everyone watching
Starfield,
a little
Shattered
bit more about the story.
Space.
Yes, so I think there's a hopeful optimism in
Игру 25 лет делали, кстати. На минуточку, 25 лет игру делали. Супер excited. Incredible excited. Машину, говорит, добавили. Кстати. Ну, в оригинальной этой игре не было же этого всего.
So like we get to meet that new house room, the people there.
Я так задолбана выгляжу, вы извините, просто я очень уставшая, я не выспалась. У меня так голова болит, плюс еще чихаю, как гадина. Невероятно просто. Starfield, эта игра больше часа, я думаю, уже закрыли. Я его прошла на стриме, ты чё? Всю сюжетку. Я на это потратила 5 или 6 стримов. Ты думаешь, мы что-то поняли? Мы ни хера не поняли. Ну, потому что, чтобы раскрыться игре, надо 300 часов. А кто-то 3000 наиграл. Там я вообще с ума схожу. Больные люди. Ну ладно, они не больные, они там... отпетые его.
There's lots of choices in there for you.
Okay, very interested to find out what that story kind of leads us on to as well. Very good. Along with that story that we've been chatting about, there are some new game features as well as a huge new planet that we can explore. Could you tell us a bit more about those two?
So we have the city of Dazra. We focused. All of our effort has really been focused on the area around the city. So I think
I'm so excited.
The beauty of it is that there's exploration.
I'm very
you can find nooks and crannies in the game, or little secret discoveries, or locations you feel like
adorable.
I know I'm coming back here. So there's like an excitement there.
Yeah.
Excited.
So it's that. It's. Yeah, I'm so excited about it.
So excited!
So excited as well. I mean, even in the trailer, we saw kind of a very summery, beachy vibe cruising around on our Rev 8 too. Have you taken it for a spin?
I have, no, I do, and I think Shattered Space
Ребятки, надо сделать какой-то эмодзи so excited,
You can take the Rev 8 to any planet.
Yeah.
You can take it into Varunkai, Faroon's home world.
Продолжение оффнуть действует только на стрим 21:00. Кого оффнуть?
I think that's one of the great things about our games is we always support any type of play style. So it's like you can play with it, you can play without it, you can take it to Varunkai, you cannot take it there.
Impressive.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well I'll definitely be taking it for a spin as well when Shattered Space releases too. Was there anything else that you wanted to chat to us about for Starfield Shattered Space coming out? Anything we can look forward to?
You can. I think you can look forward to an interesting story, a handcrafted world, new weapons, new gear, new items that sort of alter the way you might think
any
about
type of play style.
I cannot wait to play it as well. And everyone watching at home as well, be sure to check out Starfield's Shattered Space, launching September 30th.
Это в 9 часов будет вторая типа презентация инди-игр. По идее, там может быть что-то интересное, потому что индюшатина, она более интересная сейчас, чем вот эти вот крупные громкие релизы. Dungeon. Это все, что показали по Старфилду? Я аж проснулась. Серьезно? Это все? Я в ахере. Какой пиздец. Мое лицо краснее солнца. От таких so excited. Мать честная, что это вообще? Что у нас на ужин холодос? У меня есть селедка. Чтобы разрабам по лящам вот так вот, по щекам, на этой сельдью. Мне кажется, вот так вот если делать, то будет и то более это импрессив, ёпта. Трэш.
Hi there, I'm James, the
Здорово,
designer of
James.
Let's Build a Dungeon, a game development simulator that's coming to PC and Xbox next year. We previously brought our game Let's Build a Zoo to Xbox Game Pass, so it's exciting to be back here sharing news of our next game. Today, we want to share a closer look at our multi-layered management sim, and also reveal some brand new features that we've never talked about before. Let's Build a Dungeon is designed to simulate every aspect of running a games studio, and that starts with designing something your virtual players will love. You get to decide which quests to put in the world, and whether you want to focus on a traditional RPG built around magic and combat, or something more cozy, like fishing or running monster farms. And if you want even more control, we have an exclusive new mode to share with you. Creative mode is our sandbox. But it's a sandbox quite unlike any other. Not only do you have access to literally thousands of assets, buildings and characters, in Let's Build a Dungeon, you can also tell your own story. We are developing a series of easy-to-use tools that lets you create almost anything. From a production level dialogue editor that lets you create branching conversations, events and rewards, to a full AI editor that lets you adjust anything from attack probabilities to spawn rates and weapons. We even have a tool that lets you draw your own pixel art characters, which will then automatically animate them for you. Our goal is to build a suite of tools that gives you as much control as we have when building our games. Games made by the community will be available for download, along with some titles made by developers like us here at Spring Loaded. Adding these tools felt like the natural extension of our game development simulator. Why stop at building the most detailed game dev sim ever created, when we can add elements of a game engine to give you a full, authentic experience? Hopefully, this short overview has given you an idea of what to expect from Let's Build a Dungeon when it ships
Я сейчас
next
все
year.
группы мышь. Давайте делать зарядку. Ну а что еще делать? Блин, долбаный хромак, что ты это?
Windscale, the pride of Britain, nestled in the picturesque Lake District, the state-of-the-art atom plant has transformed this rugged landscape into the envy of its northern neighbors. Scientific progress waits for no one.
Windscale. Everything changed when that bloody atom plant went up in flames.
Citizens of Wyndham, there has been an
Ёлки-палки, Павел, мне не нравится тебе, не смотри, ёб твою мать, что ты сидишь нудишь? Да, сидит он уже и это. Хочу и стримлю. Не нравится, не смотри. Похоже на Фоллоч, да. Скорее всего, 76-й это.
Please be careful. is more dangerous than you can possibly imagine.
На мостик могу. Шо, давай встанем на мостик. Попробуем. Я вообще влезу тут? Ой. Ой, у меня тут фантик упал.
It's mystery mixed with folk horror weirdness, all set in a not-so-idyllic post-war
Outer
British countryside.
World?
Believe it or not, it's based on a true story. Really? Well, here with more on Atomfall, please welcome Creative Director for Rebellion, Ben Fisher. How you doing, pal?
How you doing?
Welcome to Germany.
Thank you.
First time here, or?
I've been here for Gamescom before.
Yeah. But not with a game quite like this, right?
А что еще делать?
Let's
Надо
talk
как-то
about
вас
that, Ben.
развлекать.
Actually, you're right, Henry, because this is a huge departure from Rebellion's most famous series, let's call it, Sniper Elite. Can you tell us about this sudden change of pace here?
Sure. I mean, it's similar and it's different in different aspects of the game. So we always value sandbox exploration and giving the player lots of freedom in their objectives. But at the same time, this is a survival action game with some sort of RPG-ish elements, there's skills, there's crafting. The story of the game unfolds as you explore. It's kind of a mystery game, so tonally quite different to Sniper Elite.
Не, ну вы, в
I
принципе,
love the
молокуза.
exploration side of it. I mean, from what we just saw in the quick trailer, there's a lot going on. It's not just one sort of trope that you're sticking
Let's
to.
go!
There's a lot to unpack, so maybe as we're checking out some gameplay that you brought along that we can experience, we can jump into some of the influences that have made it into this title, because, like I said, it's a lot going on here, man. So let's check out some of this gameplay as well. You've got to start off with a post box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where else?
I mean, it's on your T-shirt as well. It
Yeah.
must be quite a core feature of Atomfall, I assume.
It is actually. So, as you explore the world of Atomfall,
Вот это да, вот это игровой
you're uncovering a
показ.
mystery. You're discovering what's happened in this post-apocalyptic quarantine zone in 1950s north of England. Different characters will
Ребятки,
ask you to do things for them.
давайте
and they might
делать
help in return.
зарядку.
And one of the characters that you can interact with is this
Видите?
mystery phone voice. You don't know who they are. You don't know
Я
what they
делаю
want.
зарядку
You have
под
to choose
такую
which character to
потрясающую
select.
игровую
Kind of like Bosley, Charlie's Angels
презентацию.
vibes coming
Ребята,
through.
Yes, exactly.
I like that. That's cool.
Просто
You know, speaking about the story, and
невероятно.
Henry, you mentioned it earlier. True story. Like, what is
Давайте
that about?
вместе
Yes,
со
well,
мной.
yeah. It's based on real-world disaster that happened. The
Физика видно, отлично.
first major nuclear disaster in the world was in Winston plant in Sellafield, so
Ой, поясница
1957. We wanted to use that as a jumping-off point for a story. So Jason Kingsley, one of the owners and founders
Ну вопрос, что делать? Мы дед говорил просто эпические,
observed that there were lots of games that are kind of like
межгалактическими
post-atom
космическими
storytelling, like
Какую?
post-atomic disaster storytelling, but
Классе
none
геймер
set
здорово.
around this first disaster that's happened in the world. So we took that as a starting point and then thought, what's a rebellion kind
Это
of
Atomfall.
interpretation of that kind of event? So, like I say, we value that kind of
Игорь, где
sandbox
лучше на кровати
exploration and
полежу?
player freedom,
Нормально.
and then combine that with the sort of unique Britishness,
Отлично!
and that led to the environment that we've got in the game. So it's kind of an alternate history story. It's a mystery that you uncover what's happened. And as part of the process of building that game world, we looked back at 1950s storytelling. So references like the Quatermass series, which is one of the very earliest sci-fi serials, or like early Doctor
кстати,
Who,
я вам сейчас покажу.
and things like that. So like UK TV Gold kind of cultural reference points that even if people don't know the reference itself, they know the influences that came from it. And at the time, there wasn't a clear distinction between like folk horror and sci-fi and those kind of stories. So it's a blend, it's a natural blend in the storytelling style of the 50s.
And of course, you had to chuck some cricket bats in there for good measure. I mean, the combat are
У меня, говорит, на стрелянке взгляд, как там это... А, ну тоже
This
нормально.
is, like you say, a bit of a departure from Sniper Elite.
Говорит, что делать песос, трогать пальцем.
But in here, we're getting right up, even the fact that it's first-person
О,
camera.
ко
as
мне
well,
пришла моя
These are
клик.
conscious decisions you've made. So why did it feel right for Atomfall to treat it that way?
So in the case of Sniper Elite, you are an elite trained sniper. You know, Carl Fairbairn's like a human sniper rifle, right? He knows exactly how to fire a shot, miles to take out that
Sam,
one
мне
guy.
нужны ножницы.
This is a different character in a different situation. We wanted it to be a mystery, so there are no signifiers of age, race, or gender for the player character. They're wearing gloves, so you don't know who they are. Their backstory is part of the mystery that you may or may not uncover as you explore. We wanted you to feel more like it's not so much a war zone as a pub brawl. You're desperately attempting to survive. There's not much ammo around. The guns are all rusty because everyone's been trapped in this quarantine zone for 5 years. You're mixing melee and ranged combat. You can throw your melee weapons. You can kick people to make them stagger back. We wanted you to be constantly, desperately mixing options and scavenging desperately for resources. So there's a real kind of tension as you play, which is very, very tonally different to Carl, who's calm and controlled and reads an entire situation before he decides what to do.
I think we can definitely get on board with the
Грузики на ножки.
My entire playthrough is like it's a scene.
God damn. Видали?
It's gonna feel good. It's gonna feel great.
Talking about Kyle and
выглядит так, что прямо во время речи.
What about the characters?
Потом он занимает скрещивание этой выставки.
Focus, but are there other people that we're going to meet that are going to be key?
Yeah, so
Во.
I need to
Это типа
have
на
the right
ногу.
answer that doesn't spoil too many
Самое
things,
прикольное,
but as
знаете
you
что?
explore the game world,
Сейчас покажу.
different characters will ask you
тяжелая.
to help uncover the mystery of what
Да,
happened in the
большие.
Windshield plant and maybe ask you to do something when you get there. And if you do that,
Тут можно брать, вытаскивать грузик, поняли? И меньше вес делать. Максимально крутая штука. По скидочке было.
Whether you believe
Урвала.
the same things as they do. So it's all
Прям
murky
вообще
shades
нормас.
of grey. There's no good guys and bad guys.
Да,
and it's
это
all
на
completely
ноги.
open to the player. So you could theoretically kill every character in the game, and there's still a way to finish the game. You could theoretically play through and kill no one, and there's other routes available to you. So we really pushed hard into giving the player lots of options and lots of rewards for observing and choosing what to do. So there's lots of tropish characters, lots of kind
Ну
of
его типа можно
characters
делать
that fit this world of
типа
being
как жилет.
north of England and also being 1950s, 1960s culturally.
Yeah, I like that. I mean,
И
as
типа
a
на
fellow
руки
Scot,
там,
Ben, really
короче,
quick,
вся фигня.
are there any maybe Scottish people
Это
in there that we
грузы.
can look forward to meeting?
Грузы на ноги. Ну, мне на ноги. Нихера
But
они
what we have
огромные.
done is we've taken
Да, что-то я
like
переусердствовала.
1950s sci-fi,
По-моему.
1950s, or like
Ща, подождите.
old-fashioned folk horror type trope characters and Cold War scientist
Atomfall,
trope characters, and you'll meet those kinds of people as you explore through the game, and then still decide whether you trust them or not.
So we got pub rules, we got crazy characters. They're all living in this open world that we're experiencing. Can you tell us more about that? How did you construct it? How big is it as well?
Well,
Одна
what
часть
Rebellion excels at is these deeply packed kind of sandbox maps. So the way that we've structured Atomfall is a series of like 5 or 6, depending on how you count, sandbox maps like the one you can see just now. And you can travel freely between them at any time. They're all thematically very, very different. And then there's loads of interiors and like large-scale, story-driven locations that you might uncover, as well as bunkers that are full of loot that you might find. What we wanted to do is really lean into that densely packed kind of puzzle box. So I've spent all day watching people play the game, and no two playthroughs have been the same. People can approach it all very, very differently, get different experiences. As you explore the game, you'll find leads as well. So we don't have a kind of quest system. We've got leads that you piece together clues that help you understand what's happening. So we built this puzzle box, this sandbox of interconnected options for the player, and then we just let them go for it. They might find a difficult, dangerous place and die, but we signpost very clearly that it's a dangerous place, and then it's kind of up to them what happens.
That's right. I love a puzzle.
Надо было все-таки на 2,5
buzzing.
килограмма брать.
We're great at solving them together, to be fair.
We could work on it. I mean, you just said that there'll be leads that players can follow. Tell us a bit about how they're equipped to do so. If you're just like literally pulling out a metal detector and taking part in that great British tradition of finding some old coins or whatever it could be, but what are the other ways we can do that?
Yeah, so you might find a lead that someone's hidden in a box under the ground somewhere. They've a bit of storytelling around it to draw the player in and make them try and understand how it fits to the game world. But there's also characters that you might find in the world. There's friendly characters that you can barter with, and they might sell you or trade something with you with a lead in it. Or if you do some trade with them, they might get friendly to you and give you a lead. You can also have conversations with characters, and if you might choose the right choices, you might get some more information from them. The way that we've approached those is the same kind of high-stakes player freedom So you can get the conversation wrong, right? You're not working your way down a list of conversation topics until they grey out and then moving on to the next one. It works more like a real conversation. So if you judge their personality wrong and say the wrong thing, they might shut down and stop talking to you. And you've pruned a chain of leads that you might otherwise have found something interesting in the game world. So you're always having these influences and layers that you may even not notice are there.
That sounds so smart. I can't wait to dive into that as well. That's so cool. I understand there's some crafting elements in that as well, and also, you know, metal detectors, scavenging. Can you tell us what that kind of looks like in Atomfall?
Sure. So the player's desperately trying to survive and finding materials to help them survive. So
выглядит на ноге, конечно, полная жопа.
So they can find materials that let them craft things to help them heal or help them in combat, so Molotov cocktails and makeshift grenades and things like that. So you find yourself trapped into a corner and you can make these resources that help you survive. Like I say, we're trying to make sure that we find this sweet spot where you feel kind of desperate as you're trying to survive. We want you to use everything that you find. We make sure your backpack capacity is quite limited as well, so you're really pushed to make these difficult choices and decide even whether you want to engage in a fight or not, whether you want to avoid it entirely. You want to choose the right moment and try and take out 5 guys with a Molotov. It's all really, really high stakes, but it makes it very rewarding when you manage to pull something off.
Не, я этой херней заниматься не буду, что я там пришивать еще
что-то. Horrible decision by going into a restricted area. Already seen a ribcage. I mean,
yeah. I mean, so
this is going to go great.
Like I mentioned earlier, if you're heading into somewhere difficult or dangerous or scary, we make sure and signpost it. So you know, if you go into a place like that and then you die, you go, oh, I should have guessed. Yeah, there was a skeleton outside.
Yeah, that one's on me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To be fair, I'm very good at ignoring red flags, so we'll see about that.
And in terms of the player's progression then, so you're making all these decisions, you're making friends with everybody, you're crafting your gear. What about skills, anything like that in the game?
Sure. So there's a range of skills that help reinforce the player's ability to survive in this dangerous world. So there's a chain of skills that are for melee combat, ranged combat. There's sort of durability skills that mean you can take more damage and survive in dangerous areas. And then also abilities that help your overall survival, like disarming traps and things like that. So really we wanted to keep it grounded so that there's always that sense of threat and pressure, but we wanted to give you some advantage. So you might learn a skill that lets you throw a melee weapon, and if it's bladed, it'll stick in targets and things like that, just to help give you that edge over the course of the game. As you can see in this location here, they're in a kind of dark and then scary interior. So we've got the player's progression, but then there's also a kind of game world progression where they're uncovering a mystery. So quite literally, they have to push deep into the world and into the underground of the world to find these dark and scary places. We try and keep it tense the entire way through the game.
Нет, чисто как дополнительные вест типа для приседа, норм. Но для ног вообще не норм. Оно неудобно, вообще не анатомическая фигня. Надо мелкие, блин, брать. На 2,5 килограмма не можешь всего. Потому что эти, они на всю ногу, они вообще неудобные.
Elements influenced by what happened, but yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said earlier, the storytelling style of the 50s and 60s didn't really have a division between folk horror and sci-fi. There was like a blend for a certain kind of story that was addressing the Cold War, but in a way that was too political, I guess. So, you know, folk horror stories are about the division between
Оно типа тут как-то трансформируется в какой-то там жилет, типа надеваешь его на плечи, вся фигня. Я это заказала чисто из-за того, что здесь можно груз вытянуть, поняли, типа. И груз типа вытянуть, ну, сколько тебе надо, и регулировать, короче, вес, с которым ты хочешь заниматься. Чисто из-за этого. Ну, о, кайф, универсально, удобно. А они на ноге вообще херово сидят. Не знаю, можно, конечно, вернуть обратно в магаз. Типа сказать, что не подошло. То как бы пофиг.
The heart of this mystery is a location called the Interchange. So to begin with, you're trying to find this place. As you make your way in, it's all unpowered. It's been shut down. It's been quarantined. and you push into it and open it up more and more, and it's like
есть браслеты, я видела.
As you find all of these
Когда в
leads,
спортзал
the heart of
ходила,
the
там,
mystery,
где я
and the
ходила,
more you find, the more you
там
start
было
to find. So you end up in this kind of like snowball effect.
He's just picked up a corner's passing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, this is pre-Greg's era, I suppose. So we'll take what we can get for now.
That's brilliant.
Одна, сколько килограмм весит? Одна вот эта штука 5 кг.
It's really fun for me to see like the contrast between that dank bunker we just came out of, and then like the overworld is so lush and vibrant. And listen, I've been to the north of England. It's not always this green, so sometimes, yeah, exactly. I mean, I live in London, and it's just grey all the time. So any green I can get is good. But
Относишься к ортопедическим матрасам, потому что хочешь такими.
Will we see many other types of biomes or environments in the game as well?
Yeah. So one example would be there's a woodland nearby, but it has more of a kind of spooky folk horror-ish tone.
Говорит, вот вы только представьте, как сейчас весь взор толпы зрителей в Кёльне прикован к Насте, хвастающей проявлением, чего более признанный, чем сам билет на Gamescom. Видео на 5 кг, но они были намного меньше, блин. Интересно, что это были за такие.
I like that as well. Very good. I mean, I think we, especially at Xbox On, are super excited for Atomfall and to check it out and maybe even come across ourselves, because Henry and I and Charlie have actually been scanned.
Да Gamescom, блин, вообще что-то кусок говна какого-то. Atomfall.
Oh, there we are. There's Henry getting his wee.
Yeah, I have to say it's maybe not the most flattering, methods of doing it, but what are you actually doing to me there? Because I just signed something and agreed to show up dressed as a big baby, and apparently that's...
Бля, чё она ссытся? О, не безлично здорово, спасибо большое.
Sure, so we go through a highly detailed scanning process of every angle of your face and different configurations, so we get wrinkle maps and things like that. Then, of course, yeah.
Бля, сидит, усыкается. Как относишься к поясам, которые качают пресс? Как относишься к VR? Как относишься к Владик Бруту? Как относишься к ортопедическим матрасам и подушкам? Ровно. Кстати, наверное, лучше на беговые дорожки ходить, если еще угол выстоит, и через пару минут свалишься. Не, оно прикольно, типа, как вес, ну, понял, дополнительный, они прикольные, вот. Но они почему-то на ноге нормально не сидят. Хотя вот здесь я вижу по картинке. Типа у людей нормально оно держится. Может, у меня какие-то ноги не такие?
Whoops. Honestly, I cannot wait to play this game. It looks bonkers, it looks British as heck, and honestly, we're going to play it so much when it launches.
Он типа чувиха затягивает, и все типа ок у нее.
Thank you very much.
And we are going to be taking a little look at some other games, but your game's coming out in 2025 on Xbox Game Pass, which is great. But next up, we're going to be throwing it back with some Age of Mythology retold. But before we do that, we do want to check out some new gameplay.
Как, говорит, относишься к дефолтной броне? Что она горит ей под столом, щекочет. Как относится к реализации сельскохозяйственной программы Таджикистана на 25-й год? Потрясающе. Проходила историю с такими и подобными жителями. Ни одни толком не держались. Я видела в спортзале похожий, вот был на липучках, но оно на ногах держалось.
But before that, let me give you a reminder on the two single-player game modes that Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has to offer: episode battles and custom battles. First up is episode battle. In this single-player mode, you can take the point of view of 8 different characters, including Goku and Vegeta, and enjoy
Как вопрос относится к вопросам тему того, сколько тебе лет? Не может быть там субтитрами только на английском, было бы не так пососно. А, не может. Так внутри сказано в лучшем случае, понимаешь, не круто. Ну, типа того.
Next up is custom battle.
Custom battle.
Players fight in battles that each have their own original
Battle schmattle.
Some battles will also have different victory conditions, and some might even have event cutscenes pop up midway, so you'll be able to enjoy battles different from the norm. Using edit mode, you'll be able to freely set the characters to be played, as well as the pre-battle and post-battle cutscenes, in order to make your own original battle. What you've made will be able to be uploaded and viewed online for the whole world to play, so hope you enjoy sharing the battles and situations that you have created. Now, the moment you've been waiting for. Coming straight from the Majin Buu saga, Ultimate Gohan is our latest addition to the roster. After his rigorous training, he is ready to show his power in an all-out fight against Kefla in her Super Saiyan 2 form. Enjoy!
Самое забавное, они, в принципе, плюс-минус все такие. О, да, вот это вот прям игрулька. Не игрулька, а сказка. Как относится к сокращению программы обучения машиниста электропоезда с 6,5 месяцев до 4? Не, ну это какая-то жопа. Не Юлька, сказка про деда и коляску. Как относишься к вопросам, которых тебя спрашивают, как ты относишься к вопросам, которых тебя спрашивают, как ты относишься к чему-либо? Потрясающе. Господи, питончик, что ты морозишь? Что за херню ты сморозную? Слушайте, жаль, что нельзя мозг качать такими написаниями. Не, я еще попробую с ними разобраться. Может быть, я что-то неправильно делаю. Да, дела. Это...
Now, there is nothing like enhancing a classic with modern graphics and gameplay mechanics. And if that classic feature can feature, you know, new expansions and a remastering of the multiplayer experience, well, in my eyes, it's even better. So here from World's Edge even, to give us the latest on Age of Mythology Retold, please welcome Senior Director of Production, Ernest Yen, and Senior Game Designer,
Господи боже, что это?
Prostagma to you. Thank you so much. Now, Age of Mythology, there's loads going on here at Gamescom.
Обожаю, когда пытаются просто типа что-то как-то атрибутику игры, ну типа одевать, поняли? При этом одетые сами, как не знаю кто. Ну, типа просто как за хлебом вышли.
Athena talking to like the young hero, and in this case, like one of them is of course the key characters, Acanthos, and about this really epic like story that a lot of our fans remember really fondly. So over multiple campaigns, over 50 missions, it is epic, amazing, and of course the trailer also show off like
Про Starfield будет уже было.
looking really pretty. It is just like really.
Starfield уже все закончился.
And the trailer's been fantastic because it really showcases how diverse each civilization is within myth. We have our Greeks, we have Egyptians, Norse, and Atlantean. They all have their own gods, their lore, the way that they play. There's just so much diversity within the gameplay. It's been really exciting.
And talking about the booth, yes, we are here, so like people can actually come.
You're just over the back,
yeah,
it's like
right there.
Я секунду подумала, что это жаба альбинос.
If you come, you can get like these awesome lightning bolts, like, and also take pictures. So that's like really cool. And by the way, this is not the only thing that we have here. So you know, on top of Age of Mythology Retail, we also recently announced.
Собрались, короче, походу мы смотреть.
And then, like, if you come by the booth, you can get this like awesome like pop socket. It's like amazing. So highly recommend.
Это он нам телефон свой показывает модный.
It's so cool. And the game is actually, we just announced that it's going to be available globally on October 17th. So it's a very different, very new experience that we're expanding Age of Empires to the mobile audience. So it's a game built with the awesome Team Studio Group, and they have crafted something that's amazing for the mobile gamers.
Oh, how exciting. I can't wait to see it. Amazing. Right, so
Пихтончик? Так ты пихтончик?
То
есть не питончик, а пихтончик. Ёп твою мать. Это страшно. Так, я еще раз, короче, попробую, ребятки, разобраться с этой штукой.
Right, so for a few years now, our fans know we have been building these things called like definitive editions. And what there's one key goal that we have, which is we want to build the title that's in your head. Right? When you actually think about the games that you grew up with and play, like you remember fondly, and so like it's amazing, right? So, but when you actually try to play the original for real and look at it and say like, that's not what I remember like at all. So we want to build the one that's actually in your head and how it looks like, how it feels like. So that's the goal. So, and yeah, really want to thank the fans for supporting us for so long for all the different editions. But for Retold, Age of Mythology Retold, we are going beyond what we have done in developed editions. So on top of all the graphics and all the gameplay from the original, we actually tweaked it and added a bunch of like new things to it as well, and it is just amazing. So
yeah, I mean, from the design side, from the get-go, we really asked ourselves, how can we maximize our mythology? And so we've got reusable god powers, which you can actually see. We've got our approachability features like our VPS we brought in from other titles. We've got a more favor-based economy, so you can build more monsters, and our population cap is much higher now. So not only can you build more monsters, you can just build more of everything.
You add me at more monsters, I'll stop you there. It feels like a love letter, really. Everything you've learned so far, you're bringing back, and I love the idea of taking out what you see in your head and then making that version of the game. I think it's absolutely wonderful. So you mentioned a little bit about god powers, actually. I heard we have our very own gods wandering around at Gamescom, by the way, while we're on the subject.
Yes, we have invited them to the booth, so you also can actually see them. We have Athena and Zeus here in our booth, so come by, see them. Like, you can see them on screen like that.
Zeus is loose.
Goodness me, where did you find that?
They are amazing.
Попробуй мицелляркой.
That is so
nice. Oh my goodness me.
Please come by. It takes a lot of work for us to invite them to the
мицелляркой с
booth.
маслом.
A lot of convincing.
A lot of convincing.
Beautiful, awesome. Okay, back to the game now. Sorry, tangent. So seeing the gameplay that we just saw just then, it's really clear that the team has been hard at work on the visuals. I think you both mentioned it already. So what can we expect?
Посмотри, я тупо встала. Вот я сейчас вам прикол покажу.
We actually have redone every single graphics that you actually see in the game. So like every single 3D asset, every single animations, like effects, all of them are completely rebuilt just for this game.
Наверное, верну все-таки в магазин.
It's really good work, but we want to make sure that you also keep the flavor of the original, because again, we want to build a game that people remember. So it's really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a labor of
love, I'll say that much. Yeah, so we've gone asset by asset, and we just made overall improvements. We wanted everything to look and feel mythical, and so we have, you know, our destruction effects. We support ray tracing. But like Ernest had said earlier, you know, sometimes when we've gone back and look at these assets in 2024, we realized that we had an image in our head that was very different than blurry pixels, you know, wrapped around a sphere. And so we had a lot of philosophical discussions because, you know, the dev team were all major fans of the original. So, I mean, Arcantus was a big one where we were like, would he have a dimple? Or would his chin be more square? Would he have...
I want to be in those meetings, please.
They've been really fun. You know, it's part Rorschach test looking at some of the assets. And then it's like labor of love. And it, you know, it all comes together to make that game that
Вообще, анатомически ни хера неудобно.
Amazing. So if I've got
то оно и на скидке было.
Retold as complete visual overhaul, updated god powers, and larger than life myth units. Now, small enough to keep me interested, but is there anything else that you have to share?
Yes, definitely want to say that, remind people, one of the coolest things that we have done for here is that we are releasing on PC and Xbox with crossplay, like at the same time. We have never done that with any age games, so it is the first time we're releasing on multiple platforms at the same time. So really, really happy to be able to bring the game to not only to the keyboard and mouse player, but to controllers players as well. Because the game people really remember, beloved it. We want everybody to be able to play together.
And you've had some fantastic versions on the console recently, so those players want to absolutely join you. Now, you also have some other really exciting things to tell us today. I know I'm really gripped for this, but what can you tell us about the
Там вроде сыпучий наполнитель.
I am so excited to be able to talk about this.
Here we go.
Он что-то херово держится, просто слетает у меня с ноги.
What we really wanted to do is offer the players a new strategy type for the Norse, which is, you know, a beloved civilization from the legacy game that can sometimes be very offensive in the way that it plays. And so with our Freyr God Pack, we wanted to offer a defensive skew to it. So with the Freyr God Pack, players will be getting 4 new god types featuring Freyr, who is the god of fertility and kingship, and then 3 minor gods, as well as all the things that they come with, like their myth units and their god powers.
Wow. Oh my goodness me. That's insane, by the way. 4 new gods. Amazing. Are you able to talk us through each one? Can we do that?
Yes.
Oh, amazing. Excellent.
So we have Uller, who is the god of archery, and his myth unit is a Draugr, which you may see in the film here. The Draugr is an awesome myth unit. He's an undead archer, and his arrows can pierce multiple targets, whatever is in his line of sight. We have Aegir, who is the god of storms, and his god power, he has a horrifying hailstorm that will slow everybody down, and it's very frosty. And he is one of the best myth units, which is a rock giant, and if you upgrade him, he can eat buildings, and he will.
God, I love this game.
10 килограмм дышку. Блять, какие 10? Она 5 килограмм одна штука это весит. Какие 10, Стрэндж? Сказала же, что одна фигня это 5 кг весит. Откуда ты 10 взял на одну лодыжку?
Another famous character from mythology, Fafnir, who is a very greedy dragon. Everywhere he goes, he leaves like a trail of poison. And if you slay Fafnir on the battlefield, he actually melts into a pile of gold coins. So it's been very fun to make.
I really love how much you've fleshed out each of those. Like, yeah, that one's going to eat buildings, isn't he? Love it. So good. Wonderful.
It's amazing. Just want to do a quick reminder that Freya is going to be part of the premium edition of the game. So if you want Freya and all the major and minor gods, so definitely get the premium edition. And by the way, if you get the premium edition of the game, you also will be able to access the game earlier. So like the game is coming out September 4th, but like if you have the
Я же
premium
сказала,
edition,
2 по 5. Одна 5 килограмм весит. Какие каждая по 10 килограмм? Какой смысл от такого на ногу? Это уже бессмысленно. Ремейк игры 2004 года? Не, ну может типа для фанатов и норм будет. Пихтончик, иди погуляй. Без тебя разберусь.
Stuck on Peach there. I can't wait to unpack this expansion, but I need to ask you both, Ernest, Kirsten, what dates? I know we spoke them a little bit, but let's go over it one more time so everyone's got them written on the
Блин, она мне напоминает куклу. Ну, типа волосы вот эти желтые. Прям так жестко.
So we will continue to support the game, we'll continue to do updates, balance, listen to consumer feedback, and honestly our players are amazing. They give us really good feedback, and then we can continue to improve the game.
Yeah.
So.
And part of that is, yeah, we have 2 new pantheons coming with playable civilizations, and then we also have a new game mode, Arena of the Gods, which we're excited to talk about soon.
Ooh, how exciting. Well, thank you both so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to make sure I get the pop socket. I'm going to make sure I get whatever these things you're wearing. I'm going to hunt you down. I'm going to get them. So thanks so much for stopping by. There are loads more Age of Mythology stuff going on for all types of gamers. But first things first, as Erson said, if you haven't already, make sure you pre-order Age of Mythology Retold Premium Edition to get the Freya Gods pack, 7 days early access, and so much more. You can play early from August 28th, and that is only 1 week from today. And that, my friends, is a wrap on day 1 from the Xbox Gamescom booth here in Germany. Join us tomorrow for Star Wars Outlaws, the latest...
Аллилуйя, все закончилось. Господь Иисус. Вова, здравствуй.
Story arc that World of Warcraft has ever seen. And there's probably going to be so much more too. So until tomorrow, have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
Аллилуйя. Оно закончилось. Гадэм. Так, говорит, в 2004 году эта стратегия имела смысл. Age of Empires, Warcraft, но сейчас такое, понимаете, шкафов бессмысленно. Написано Thanks for watching. Пожалуйста. Эх, жаль, что закончилось. Никогда не испытывала такое проникающее сердечко веселье. Вы рады? Как вам презентация? Давайте поговорим. Как вам презентация? Что-то вообще какая-то дичь, по-моему, если честно. Ой. Так, короче, в 9 сделаю следующую презентацию. Вот. Индюшатина будет, так сказать, уже сегодня хапанем говнеца по полной, так сказать. Вот. Презентация нам так. Так, чё, вон вверху, типа, написано индюшатина будет. Ой-ой-ой-ой. Одна ностальгическая эмоция, которая вызвана ремейком старой стратегии, уже много. Хз. По-моему, фигня какая-то. Полнейшая притом. Сногсшибательная. Вообще. Ой, а я не знаю. Я сейчас, наверное, пойду в магаз. Сдам вот это добро. Оно тупо, короче, не фиксируется у меня нормально на ноге. Ну, вы видели, оно тупо у меня сползает. Полная ерунда. Жалко, конечно. Я его затягиваю, вот так вот ногу, это все. Ну, я ж не буду дома в кроссовках, блин, заниматься. Да это бред какой-то. Чтобы держало оно на ноге, надо надеть кроссовок. Оно же должно фиксироваться как-то. Вот. Если вы говорите о принятии первых веселящих бодрящих таблеток, мне бы зашло. С Индикой будем ухахатываться. Ну, думаю, нормас. Короче, так, не прощаюсь. Я сделаю чуть позже анонсик. Где-то через часик, наверное, по поводу Инди вот этого вот Gamescom. Вот. этот, как его, посмотрим, что там за инди-приколы будут. А я сейчас пойду в магаз и сдам то, что я заказала. Херово. Вот. Ладно. Всем спасибо. Вот там лайкосик прожмите. Хотя, не знаю, как хотите, короче, на эту презентацию. Что-то эта презентация какая-то максимально унылая, прям вообще фу. Вот. Так что давайте. Прощаемся с вами ненадолго. В 9 увидимся. Анонс скину попозже. Давайте.